Hello, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to Deep Dive from the Hive, where we discuss modern-day musician life, answering the call to create, and what it takes to actually produce what you believe in. I'm your host, Marv Ellis, the captain of this submarine. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, so let's batten down the hatches and get to it. Let's go. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check.
That was a sick intro track.
Thanks, man.
Really sick.
I like that.
Not even gonna ask you what the sample is.
It is from some strings off of 45.
Love it.
I don't even know the name of it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you today. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Deep Dive of the Hive. In studio right now, we have two of Southern Oregon's finest. They're producers, they're tastemakers, they're composers, they're builders, and that's just the beginning. They are currently building a spaceship to go to Mars. Also, we're stoked to have the one and only Sugarbeats in studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Mars.
Yeah,
Good to be here.
Great to have you guys. They're just coming. You guys are just coming off your show here. This is the first one we've done post show. So what I kind of wanted to do is mess around with this for a little bit. But what are your thoughts on the show that you guys got to do last Friday? Like, what was your experience like? How do you feel about it? Let me give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it was fun as hell. It's just so refreshing to like actually get in the van, get on the road with the band, and just have an excuse to get out, play our music, and share. And actually, like the intimate vibes, we haven't gotten that. Well, it was the first of its kind for like a lot of reasons because we had no backing tracks and we're playing with some of our new players.
I feel like to watch the video and stuff. I mean, you get it all recorded live in the video and you're just watching it. Yeah. What's the game tape? Those are the game tapes, right?
Uh-huh.
Watching how you did.
I mean, we did the one in Bend a week before, and we watched that, and we were like, all right, let's change those horn lines. Let's fix that up, And that definitely, helped us just come into this with a little bit more of a fresh vibe, cleaned up a little, but we're still trying to figure out how to chop up our tracks like the best way we can so that they sound the best fully live without those backing tracks.
Right.
So, but you guys did a hell of a job on the production, the sound, the lights, the video, everything. Like it was just, I really liked, having those live transitions and having like, it was good having that front portrait at Kalista. That was like a great point to bounce back to, and she's a great front woman, but it really was cool to have you guys' top-notch stuff going on.
Anybody at home can tune into the Hive's YouTube channel and watch the show and see what happened, what transpired. Just real quick, I'm sorry, I apologize for not doing this. We got Luke right here.
Hey, Marv.
Right, so people watching at home, and then across from me is Ananda, and they are the two composers that I was talking about, the two producers. I'm sorry about that. But can we throw up some of that footage, Trev? Just check it out real quick. Is that possible? We got the screen going on today.
Give me just a second on that.
Anybody listening at home, just to the actual podcast itself, we're going to dive into some stuff. But if you do get a chance to check out the YouTube channel and watch the live stream of this show, you'll be able to enjoy all the footage and videos and imagery we're going to be pulling up too. So for me, while we pull that up, I want to talk about the beginnings, because it's remarkable to see you guys up there doing what you do. But I sometimes wonder, how did this happen? How did these guys meet? Where did this start? Where were you born? How did you meet each other? That's one thing I want to know as an observer. Could you tell me about how you guys met?
Well, originally, he was friends with my little brother first.
Okay.
And
who is?
Max Estes.
What's up, Max?
Max Estes Tattoo.
Yeah, Max.
Shout out.
Shout him out. You can shout out anybody.
Tattoo artist.
Yeah, amazing tattoo artist in Portland. Check him out on Insta. But yeah, in third grade, I actually moved to Ashland from France. So Ananda was like one of our first friends. And we met when I was in 7th grade. He's a year younger, but we're the same age, both 91.
Hellman Elementary is
where it all started.
Yeah, where it all started. And me and Max used to get beat up by Luke and all of his friends with nunchucks and shit while I stayed over at the house to the point where we would cry. But it was good, fun brotherly love.
That's how most bands start, right?
Totally. Nunchucks.
Yeah. Bow hunting skills. Yeah. CKY.
So, okay, so here we have it. Tell me what's going on here. What
are we getting sound or we
Ananda's up there. He's controlling the sound, but they want to hear us talk about this. So right now, this is the current iteration of Sugarbeats. And what's going on here with this band? Luke, first of all, you play the keys. That's your instrument?
I started on guitar, and I just always I got kind of bored of just like, it was just too one-dimensional. I mean, ironically, I really miss it now, and I want to go back. But keys, just as a producer, is just like, if you can play keys, you can play everything.
It's kind of
like on a sampler.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of like, and it's always been so mystical to me. Like, you put your hands in the right like code, and then it's just like this cool fucking noise.
It's like beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And you hear the right chord. It's
gospel, and the
fantastic.
light shined upon me.
Yeah, so you're sticking with the keys now.
I'm a key dude. It's my thing.
I
just love the way you can voice them.
Yeah. How long have you been playing?
Since music school. So like, I mean, I've always kind of messed
full
around.
time, like lately though, the last 2 years probably.
Since when we started playing shows with the live band, I was like, fuck DJing. I want to play keys.
Yeah, you know, get in it.
But when I was like so bad when we were getting on stage. I was just like, kind of clacking my chords out and just barely getting by. And so now that we've been really like practicing a shit ton and just like playing the same songs over and over, and then just being like, oh, I just want to like add a little run here, and then just practicing that until it's fluid, and then just being like, oh, now I can play these songs really well. I don't feel like uncomfortable at all.
How long have you been playing?
I don't know, like music school was like 8 years ago, I think.
Okay, so you started 8 years ago.
But it's not like an everyday thing. I go through spurts where I'll be like learning a song every day, and practicing, and then I'll just like. But I think you need that time off to like get it deep learning. You know?
Yeah, but that's your instrument. That's a Nord.
It is now.
You're rocking that. What is that?
Yeah.
It's
the
your weapon of
Nord,
mass production.
Electro.
That's your thing.
Is it the Electro?
It's the Electro.
Yeah, it's fire. And Ananda, you sing with a golden microphone. You play saxophone, tenor, alto.
I played the alto, and that, man, for a long time, until we went fully live without the backing tracks, I was kind of the one that was, since he went to keys, I was more just I was orchestrating the stems. I was, kind of making sure everything went right with the transitions, because we were doing a lot of DJ style transitions with our stems while having the live aspects around it. So it kind of was a cool fusion. It wasn't just stop go songs. And that made it special, and it made it a bigger production style set, because we were able to make it really bang for bigger venues, you know. And but now, man, I was just like so over all the pre-show work and getting everything set up, and my computer, and like I did some drum pad with some samples, and I did some vocals, but like
it's
just so much gear, and I was just like, I just want to like come in with a small instrument and just toot away,
right? So
and just have fun, and like really, it's just been a couple of years that I've been like seriously trying to like get better at it, and I hate to say it. I don't know any theory. I don't even know what notes I'm playing. I just do everything by ear.
You're by ear.
I just like, and I'm like, oh, I'll start by learning all our licks. So I'm just like getting all my finger stuff going, getting all just like
some scales that we used often.
Yeah, just like a couple, but like it's like I usually just like quietly figure it out really quick, and then just
how much time a week do you guys think you devote to just improving your skills on your respective instruments?
We do.
Like,
now that you know that it's go time, because I'm curious.
Pretty much just rehearsal for me.
Yeah, which is twice a week we do long rehearsals.
Because it doesn't seem like you guys fuck around. If you're going to do something, you go all in, and then you get good at it. And I'm wondering if you
that's
go
kinda
that hard on it.
Like watching the Ben show, we were like, dude, we know we sound better every fucking week. So like we just got to make sure. And that's why I think we sounded way better here at the Hive, because we were like, we got this. Like,
and Tones missed the rehearsal.
Slacking.
Tones missed the rehearsal before that show too. So it's like, me and him being really tight helps the horn section a lot. Really kind of keep the whole song tight.
And you gave him that the alto,
the tenor
that he's playing.
That's
bought not an alto, is it?
No, it's a tenor. I'm playing the alto. He's playing the tenor. And I got that from Cripple Creek when they were going out of business.
I got a guitar there too right before they went
out.
Shout out to Cripple Creek.
Shout out to Cripple Creek.
Hope y'all are doing good in Mexico, drinking.
I'm sure they're just fine. They're like, let's.
Didn't the sign say they were moving to Mexico? They're selling everything and moving to Mexico
for Tequila Fund.
Does that sound like? That sounds great.
That sounds awesome.
Depending on where in Mexico, but
as a musician, that's exactly how I'd like to retire.
Is that how you want it to end up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go out that way.
So this brotherly bond, because honestly, when I first heard about you guys, met you guys, I was like, these guys are brothers, yo. Like, what's going on? But it's not like a. For me, it's more of like an energy thing, you know. And I see you guys together, I'm like, these guys are brothers. What's the deal with this brotherly link you guys have? How did that happen? How did that forge? Did you guys get in a knife fight back to back, like defend yourself again? What was the solidifying
back in, like, right out of high school? I mean, my like last year of high school, I did this whole like project, how much it would cost to build a studio, and I had this little studio, and me and Luke just like started messing with Logic, making beats, started freestyling all the time. We made so many just like ghetto hip hop beats in Logic and stuff, and like had such a good time. And I feel like a lot of our shenanigans, you know, like parties, we'd be freestyling around bonfires. Like we just had a lot of.
Mainly how it happened. Yeah, we'd be at parties, and then just like there'd always be like a cipher. Like we'd be starting up. And then we just kind of go, and then he was like, "Hey, I built a studio. Like, you want to come in and like write some shit?" And I was like, "I've never written anything. I just freestyle." And so
that was like when we built our friendship.
Wrote my first
for
rhyme,
the most part. It was like
that
era.
Is
like
it's very
when we were actually
all fun.
Because I
no
started
work,
partying with my younger brother too, and stopped beating up on him. You know, that golden age when everybody gets along.
It's interesting how hip hop can unite people so you know, strongly.
Yeah.
Just because you're sitting there like, hey, have you write your verse about this topic? I mean, I feel like if the whole world would sit around and write verses about what they think about one topic, and then
on a beat.
Listen to it and then all bang their heads to that at the same time, we'd have a much more peaceful world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take verse 1, 2, 3, and fucking we're friends.
So is this where Golden Toast and Bad Math come from?
No, that was we went by the double D.
Can you pull that picture up?
The double DBs, the double dude bras.
Okay.
Well, no, because you were Dude Bra and I was Derby Brown, so together.
You were Derby Brown, that was Dude Bra, then it was Golden Toast and Bad Math.
And that's the double DBs because we were both DB, Dude Bra, Derby Brown.
And funny enough, I was gonna go to Pyramid, the music school that Luke ended up going to, and I broke my arm and like my surgery was like, it kind of took away all my school money. Wow. And so I stayed in town instead of moving down to the Bay. And then we started doing the DJ thing, or I started doing the DJ thing, and Luke was.
You were also throwing Renegades.
I was throwing all the Renegades in the woods.
Crazy Renegades.
Yeah, like throwing them parties.
BLM land.
Yeah, exactly.
Calling the day of.
Kind of got shut down eventually. Yeah. Shout out.
So is this Golden Toast and
that's the very beginning.
That's the very beginning.
That's our first logo.
I designed that logo.
It's fire, dog.
And I did some coloring on it.
The candy.
I like the candy.
It's so good.
Right. And who is who at this?
I'm on the left.
Ananda has the top hat.
Okay.
And somebody actually put a pair of tits in between there that looked really good.
That did look good. Was that at a show?
They were like double Ds.
It was on the wall.
It was in our show in Bend. Yeah.
So this is like origin story shit right here.
First logo of Sugarbeats.
I love that.
Logo
homemade.
that I designed. Yeah.
I really do love it.
And the first album.
Because I know, because you sat there and drew and came
by
up.
hand.
Is this it? I think so. Maybe it is. I don't know. How do we scan it? Let's figure it out. Let's go to the.
From the graph days.
It's pretty much him drawing it and me digitalizing it for like the first handful of our artwork, for our album covers, for our logos, like a lot of them. And then eventually we were just like, we're never gonna.
But Luke, you are you a big hip hop head as he is, or would you say he's more? Because I know you breakdance.
I mean,
you can breakdance,
right
out
the gate. I went for like the.
You could b-boy.
Yeah, I went.
You did the elements. You do Krylon.
I did all of it.
You rap. I love it. You DJ like turntables or
I have
records.
If they had the picture from Pioneer Hall of us on the Technics
on the CDJs,
we're in high school. Oh my god!
You're that hit. You got.
I never
that
got good at it, but yeah, I was introduced at like a pretty early age, and I was just like, it was like, yeah, this is it. This is.
When you grew up, did you listen to Scion Super Crew?
Maybe I don't know. Is that a French?
That's
group?
The greatest hip hop crew of all time, Scion Super Crew. They're like the Wu-Tang of France, from Marseille.
Dude, I'm gonna have to check that out.
They're so dude, they're stupid. You'll be like
MC Solar though.
Yeah, Solar.
He's dope.
There's like 8 Solars in one group. That's Scion Super Crew.
Okay,
and they're all
nice.
different. They all have their own little thing.
But they're old school,
it's like
right?
Wu-Tang. They were dominating
Back in
Europe's hip hop scene in like 94, 95.
Okay, yeah, that would have been
No,
my
2002,
age.
2003.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So this was after I left there. That makes sense. Yeah.
But there's that hip hop gene in the French blood.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well,
you got the elements right.
I got introduced to by a dude in Amsterdam when I was like, 7 or whatever, but he would do the poster art for festivals, like music festivals. And I just like remember looking at these trippy, like psychedelic posters and being like fucking 5 and being like, I don't know what this is or understand it, but I'm so turned on by it. Like, this is whatever the fuck this is what I want to do with my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this is. I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what like psychedelics were or any of the music they were playing.
Yeah.
But that poster was for Mysteryland, which became Tomorrowland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but back in the day, like early when it was
That's
like a
super cool.
fucking like a party in the fucking out in a field, you know.
I like that deep shit. Keep bringing up that deep vibe.
I do like hip hop
Yeah,
though.
the heat,
Yeah.
that original poster was from Tomorrow. Okay, so,
Right?
but you were just freestyle, making beats, right?
Well, I mean, I got introduced to Eminem when I was like 6 years old. When I was doing skate park contests, I was like J5 on Right Now It's My Heat.
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And so I always like, there was a lot of the random, Immortal Technique,
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics, Andre Nicotino, all these people
Yeah.
that, like really, a lot of people, it was kind of like a popular thing for in my friends groups and stuff, but I really we crushed to hip hop and like rap for a while pretty hard. Like before it was like, okay, let's start with like, learning guitar in middle school, Sublime and Led Zeppelin and all that. Then it was like, boom, hip hop until like electronic music came about pretty much. So all through middle school and high school.
Skrillex hit.
Until Skrillex.
So like 2004-ish.
Yeah.
Till about 2011, 12. What were you listening?
Because
music.
And it turned into like funk. It really took a turn. Like I really embraced the funk. My last 2 years of high school, I ran for class president. And there's a full speech. There's an old speech online. I'm like, we're gonna bring back the funk. We're gonna funk in the fields. I have these fake. Do I have a fake afro on? I'm in a kimono,
mustache and
I'm just like get in front of like 1,000 people, like the whole school. It's hilarious. You probably would love it.
No shame.
They said that our buddy was
won the
head.
popular vote.
We won the vote, but the school didn't let it happen.
There was a popular vote and then electoral votes.
We learned about
You gotta
politics.
be kidding me.
It was out of control.
No way.
Yeah.
So,
But it
That's
turned
a bunch
into
of
funk.
bullshit.
It
welcome
really
to
turned into
America.
like funk jams, and like we were like just crushing like just old school funk, and still doing a lot of freestyling and ciphering and stuff, and like kind of incorporating funkiness into our beats in the later times of our hip hop beats. But then electronic music just took over. We were like 2008. What is that being womp on this Beatle remix? And
but let's rewind it because the last show that I played with you guys was a hip hop show.
And that was a special thing that
For the
Neil was
benefit.
like. He was like,
right?
Pop Collective.
That was the only show I played with you guys.
the one with Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he asked us to do
Right?
something fresh and funky, and we were like, we love Neil.
Yeah.
We're gonna shout out Roots Works.
Shout out
Yeah.
to
And we just were like, we hadn't really been doing much, and we were like, let's just get something fun. And like those were songs that were halfway written, halfway this. We were like, let's just get it together and do something fun.
Yeah.
And that was like
whatever's hip hoppy that we have.
we didn't want to put together another set because we didn't have our full live thing figured out yet, and
which is probably pretty easy for you guys to just drop it back into a hip hop set because that's the roots of it all.
kind of
Ironically, we've been coming back to it.
Right?
Yeah.
As you'll see, like if you watch the live stream, like none of those are like anything. Well, they're kind of hip hoppy, but they're not like dubsteppy or glitch hoppy, and
It had the hip hop flow to it, and
There's a couple of them.
but I
for
know
sure.
that I know in between sandwiched between hip hop and this funk, future funk was this glitch
Yes.
reality. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that because that was that swarmed the laptop.
Me and Luke just got fully addicted
Serato,
to
the
glitch hop is
Ableton,
what happened.
you
We
know,
were
like,
like,
that
this
was
is
big.
the funnest thing to
It's-
dance to.
it's producer porn too.
And then we got
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
candy.
It's also for like other producers of just being like, what the fuck? How did you do that?
Yeah.
Like.
and we were putting like 12, 14-hour studio sessions and like
Yeah,
just
it was
doing
just,
tons
like,
of sound design. We were
150
sleeping on the
different
studio for years,
Yeah.
a couple of years. Like we
Yeah.
love to just nerd out and
But
just get into that. And it was like, so we were like, let's chop out all the silence and all the resampled audio and make it as clean as possible while still being super glitchy.
Is that when you went to Burning Man during those times when you were heavily into glitch hop?
Yeah.
2000
glitch?
what?
Definitely.
2011, for 6 years?
That you went 2011. My first year was
2012.
2012. Yeah, and then went like I think 4 or 5 years in a row. Skipped a year and then did 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
To equal 6.
You skipped one.
We
right?
Well, we both did. I ended up going to 2 after you.
I didn't go back. I just did 6 in a row, I think.
Oh,
and then was done. Yeah.
And then you were done.
I haven't been in quite like 4 years or something.
So you guys have been doing all this stuff before this live band stuff, and you've always been coming home to Ashland?
Yes. Or me, not him.
At the beginning, I was in San Francisco going to music school that he mentioned, and then it was kind of like because shit just started kind of going right with music, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna move back to Ashland so I can like save money. We can be together. And
yeah, because we were passing stems back and forth like crazy when he was in the Bay, making all our tunes.
Which is really hard to do. Then it was probably a lot.
I even was going down there and making tunes with him down there too. It was like we were constantly trying to make it happen.
Just started as a company back then, so it was
And
like it was just possible to like start like sending stems without it taking.
But we got so much more done when we were just together and had 10 hours a day to do it.
And then we got like a sick studio space that he was renting, and I was like, well, I want to be up in there, so that's why we were like pretty.
And that was in the Imagination Station,
homeless, and I was living there.
Imagination Station, and that's why you sort of started to, because whenever you're out there with all these skills, you kind of like want to know, how did you decide to start building this little empire? You're building a little empire here in Ashland, really, because you guys build a lot of things. We'll get into that later, but it's not just the music on tracks in your room. You guys are building things, buildings, edifices, right? You're building taste-making tracks. You're building websites. You're building Sprinter vans. You're developing land, so you're building here. Why Ashland? Why do you...
I mean, I feel like we're just the type of people that always want another project. Or maybe that's more me, but I feel like Luke is pretty ambitious as well, at least in the creative side of things, to keeping things going. And we, had a lot of roller coastery times with like being able to keep strong with the passion. And I think now I had a phase where I went into vlogging, and like Luke really kept going on the music. And like now we kind of both have, it's like video is such a heavy like thing, like it's so important these days for a musician to have video incorporated into their project in some way. And it's like the fact, like what you guys are doing here is like kind of like what we're doing at Pretty Sweet Studios. And like it's like, we're a little bit farther behind you guys. You guys got a killer setup, but shout out to the Hive. But man, it's like it's really we're just here. And he lived in the city, and we played a lot of shows. We've done East Coast, Midwest, it's Canada. Like we've gone around. We like to enjoy being out. I might be more talking for me, but I really like coming back to like a quiet place like Ashland.
Nice. No,
it's really nice.
Me too. Yeah, that's what I've always said. It's the best place to come home to.
It's pretty good.
That's the thing. People get like upset when they don't get out enough, and they're like, it's so small, like I hate it here.
Just go do something.
Just go out and then come back, and you'll be stoked that you're not arriving at fucking LAX and then having to get a cab all the way to your house. Horrible. Your shitty house in the
even
suburbs,
before COVID, but after COVID, I was like, thank God we are we are here. Like
that too, yeah. I think a lot of people realize that, and that's why everyone's moving out of metropolitan areas to like places like Ashland and buying up all the properties.
That's what everybody's doing. We'll talk about that later.
But Oregon in its future.
I'm curious what you think about that.
Oh, I think so. State of Jefferson.
Right.
Build a wall just here.
So you guys it's like 2012. You founded Sugarbeats in 2012, yeah?
Pretty much.
Was there a moment?
Burning Man, our first Burning
on the playa,
Man together.
were you on the playa holding hands at sunrise? Like, let's do this.
Pretty
like,
much. Overall,
what was that moment like?
Strap off. We met these wonderful people that were like, we're doing this label called Street Ritual, and we'd love to have
shout out Street Ritual.
Yeah. So that was our
Tiger
first.
Fresh.
Tiger Fresh.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention
Dilkins.
his podcast too.
Yeah.
As I've been listening to that, it's cool.
He's great at talking.
I was just on that.
Yeah.
Oh no shit.
That was the last episode.
I don't know if it's out yet.
It's out. It's been out.
It's out, homie.
It's basically me talking forever about everything.
Sounds.
If you're into listening to me talk forever, go ahead and listen to it. It's actually pretty good.
What's the Burning Man video? Which one is that?
Oh, that is the studio
airplane?
trilogy to
Sweet.
Yeah,
Black
so
rock.
this is where the energy formed and solidified, you guys, right?
I mean,
As you're
Not-
like, we're
well,
doing this. We're
th-
doing
this
this.
came back
this
to
video
SF with me
this
after.
video was a little bit later. This
That was
isn't when we
definitely
founded Sugarbeats. This
2 or
video
3
was when
years
we were
in.
like, we're gonna do this is when we did the Kickstarter. This is right after we got approved for our Kickstarter. We hit our goal. We were like, and the money was going towards musicians that we wanted to record for our songs instead of using samples.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where that's going. But I don't think we have any footage of like our first early Burning Man days.
But that's where
we do actually, but
This is in Studio Trilogy though. Let's give them a shout out. Our
Okay.
buddy Noah Colleen, who's also
well,
Grid Division.
it's not a thing anymore.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's not a thing
but
anymore.
Grid
but
Division.
Grid Division is our sound engineer as well as artist on Westwood Recordings. And he was an intern at this amazing studio, and he ended up working there long term. But it was owned by the guy who made the processors for Apple computers, and he just went all out and made the coolest
Looks
studio.
like
It
And
has a secret bookshelf.
you only get to see 2
loft,
rooms
too.
out of like 10 rooms or
They
something,
said
but
there's $1 million worth of cables just in the
just
floor.
in the floors. Yeah,
Wow.
it was wild.
That's
And so
about how much is
we
here
got
in
free
this podcast.
studio time
Cordial.
in this place because our homie Noah was just the
Cordial.
man, and this was like one of the first songs we recorded for
who's
that
that?
album.
Who's
That's
that?
that's
Hannah
Hannah
Miller.
Miller. She goes
You've,
by H
you've met
Mills.
her. You've met
Okay.
Hannah.
Pretty Young Things
Yeah.
is the song that
She's the pretty young thing.
she sang on. Yeah,
You guys work with a lot of female artists, and mostly
Try
primarily,
to.
right? Like the Fly album.
and now we're
Well,
playing
when
it on the
it's
fly.
That was mostly
when it's
females, right?
vocals,
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
What's up with that? Why do you guys choose only females?
Not only,
I-
it's just hard to find
Mostly.
good male vocalists.
99%
singing.
majority.
And as the
for
mixer
singing.
for a lot of those songs in that era, when I was mixing those songs down, it was really, we noticed that there's a lot, the frequencies from a male voice, a lot of times we're getting, not like in the way necessarily, but like with how many like high-end frequencies we were using in that type
Or
of production,
mud,
it was a lot, it was hard to hear a male voice.
Lot
So
more-
the female voice really cut through over what we were doing in
At
the
the- of
production
the-
at the time.
The glitchier stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we had all this
Gotcha.
like fuzz and synthy,
Yeah.
like, lots of saw waves.
It's
And
like a
we-
soothing angel just sort of singing and like
Yeah.
gluing it all together.
And we sing on some of the songs
Yeah.
too.
But it's mostly guest artists as women.
Yeah, mostly.
And we
Yeah.
well,
We've
Nick
never really
Nick Hansen
found
was on
killed
Super
it.
Sauce from our last EP,
Okay.
not the most
Best-
recent one.
Best male
And
vocalist
he
we've ever
he like
heard.
learned like 10 languages in the last like year and like raps in
He's
all
one
of
of
them.
those,
I'm
like,
like, what is going
falsetto
on?
singers. He
So
just
good.
kills the funky.
But he's also a good
disco.
rapper.
Okay.
But he just blew up too.
Oh, really?
Like he got featured on Forbes, and like Moon Boots did a track with him.
Who is he?
Nick Hansen, NIC.
NIC.
Yeah, shout out Nick Hansen. Love you, buddy.
Don't you
Hansen.
want to feel good? That's him.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wrote the song and sang it too, and yeah, he's a badass. It's as soon as I heard his voice, he was collabing with a dude who had like 1,000 people on SoundCloud, and he didn't even have an artist page.
Yeah.
And I heard,
He's so good. Yeah.
and I was like, who the fuck? I
Yeah.
was like, this guy is the next Michael Jackson. I
Oh, really?
hit him up. I'm
Like
like,
that?
can you please no? It's just like it's like that falsetto
Like
funk
The
voice
Weeknd?
that nobody has. He's
The
not
next Michael Jackson?
No, he's not as good as The Weeknd. No.
Okay.
He's not the next Michael Jackson.
Let's put his
Sorry,
talent
Nick,
in
but
perspective for a
he's
second.
very,
I just want
very,
to
very,
he's
very
not
good, though.
that good, but I'd say like maybe the next Jamiroquai. But even his falsetto is better actually. Like,
But he's also a killer
really good.
rapper, and he can rap in like 10 languages. So,
So
that's
when you-
also cool.
when you
That
see
helps.
talent, you can you as a tastemakers,
Oh, yeah.
you can kind of
Well,
see
and who
Yeah.
else? It was Stereo Cool that was the collab on the
Yeah.
production on that one, who lived in
Italy.
Italy. So we were
Italian
collabing with
funk.
a guy from Italy
Yeah.
on the production, and then
He
we
lives
brought
in
him
New
in on the
York.
vocal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
That's cool. And that whole DJing thing and the dubstep and the glitch and did it ever get to trap, or did you just skip
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Or did you
Trap funk.
Yeah,
It's like
trap
Trap
funk.
funk,
Son
like
of an outlaw. Anything with the 808s
hypnotized.
is
You
on
got
there.
me hypnotized. Like
Okay.
it's got a big 808 to
we're
it,
gonna
but
do
we got
more
big
of that
trap
too.
horns. Yeah.
But you felt the calling to just take it away from that completely. You're like, okay.
Well,
And then I want to go, let's get live with it. And then you launched a Kickstarter to fund going live with it, right? Basically, essentially,
Yeah.
right? Like we want to play this shit live. And
Well, it was
the
more it was in
sampling-
the production. It was,
Right.
At that point, it wasn't about a live
yeah,
show
we weren't
yet.
quite there yet.
We were just like, we don't want to sample. We'd love to have all of our instruments played live, and we want to
Yeah.
record them, 100% original. And that was like what that Kickstarter represented mainly. It was studio time towards the
And this is the Kickstarter right here. That's the, we saw the first logo. Look at the evolution. Oh, that's the
medium.
old.
That's the medium old logo.
That's medium old. Yeah.
This was Sam.
We still use that logo sometimes.
And this is you guys when? How old are
When we're
is this?
14 probably.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm
Probably
Ananda.
look for
And I'm Luke.
That-
And we
look
go
at
by
you
the name
guys.
That
of
video
Sugarbeats.
was
We'd like to
from
tell you a
our
little bit
tour
about
with
our
the
project.
Floozies, so it must
So
have not been
Sugarbeats was
super
originally
long ago.
based around the idea of
The one where
fusing
River-
funk, jazz,
You're playing
hip-hop
volume on
elements
this,
with
right?
bass.
Okay.
Just a little bit, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
So you guys have been in the mix doing everything with all sorts of musicians for a minute. Like you don't care. You're just like, I want to make all music and record all instruments and just do what we feel is just fire to hear, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that the strategy?
That was kind of the
Because that's a
strategy.
good strategy.
We really just wanted to just like really mess around and just figure out what we like to do and just like, you know, and we dialed in our sound. We constantly, every EP we talked about how we should go a little bit more towards this route on our next release or a little bit more this way. And like, honestly,
You're just DJing.
the
Like,
glitch hop thing
just the two
specifically
of us.
though was such a like massive heat wave, and then it was like nobody really was supporting it on big levels. There was Grizz, there was
is Big
Opio, there was
Gigantic.
Big Gigantic, there was Grammatic, there was a handful of people that were really doing it big, and people that were touring with them were killing it. The Funk Hunters as well, who own Westwood Recordings that we're on, and like. But it was like, even all of them, it kind of went a little bit out of the glitch hop era, even though they hit it for a second and, you know, are a little bit more onto like just simplistic, more melody driven type of, you know, I can't say that for every one of their songs at all, but but in general, it was definitely like a phase for a lot of people. And
it was
I
like a
think
disco phase, modern day disco.
it was like
sort of.
producers wanted to get techie with it, and that's what it was really about.
I think
is the producer mind.
It kind of relied somewhat on, for a while in electronic music, it was like every year or sometimes twice a year, everything would be like, there would be a wall shattered where it was like, this is a new sound, a new genre that's never existed. So it's always like, what's the new genre going to be this year? But so glitch hop kind of fit in this kind of subgenre thing, but never really got its time in the day. But I feel like part of that was because with this newness,
I'm sorry. Glitch hop to me was the grunge. That dirty dubstep glitch.
it's
that was the
dubstep.
grunge of the, you know,
Dubstep
kind of.
meets-
And glitch hop
And then house is sort of the
Glitch hop
disco.
is like mid-tempo most of the time, though,
Right.
whereas dubstep is like, you know, 140 or 70 if you're halftime or whatever.
Right, but
know?
you guys
we
produce
were
all
in like
halftime
we were in like
with
the
that stuff?
90 to like
Yeah.
110 BPM phase for a minute with a lot of that glitch hop.
Y'all are so damn cute. How old were you?
then 20 something. I don't know.
We're still 20 something, but
No, I turned 30 last week.
oh yeah.
Happy
Bucko.
birthday,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Did you cut your hair for your birthday?
I didn't forget his
cut
birthday,
it
by the way.
myself with,
You did?
yeah.
That feel good?
It felt great. Not on my 30s. Oh, is that a thing?
You recently cut your hair?
I cut my own hair like a couple weeks ago.
How often do you do that?
That's better.
Once
That was the
every
first
time.
time I did it.
How long had you had that long hair?
Fucking long time.
Because the
Sucks.
flick of the wrist, your hair is just dangling.
Yeah, you can
Oh, yeah.
see in
It's
one of
luscious.
those videos.
It's luscious.
It's
Now
not luscious though. I feel
It's
like
not?
it's like
It's
it's like old Greg's
oily.
hair.
Mm.
I wish it was
Greg.
oily, like silky, like native hair or something. It's just like it's like it looks better as Einstein hair. I feel like. If
frizzy.
it gets too long,
Little
then
frizzy.
I just look like some sort of frumpy cat
So,
or something.
Going into the live band scenario, yeah, here we go. We're gonna check it out. Look at
Oh,
your hair,
there it
man.
is. See, yeah, and I got
There's
the
that
hipster
long
glasses to boot.
Yeah.
It's just a fun little clip we did for a teaser for the video. We're still working on the actual music video for this song. This was just a little clip to put out with the song.
This is
on
what
the drop.
when you say video matters, this is it right here.
Right. Because
This is giving me visuals of who you are and makes me think these guys are dope. I want to check them out, right?
You're not thinking those guys are hipsters from Portland? Look at those glasses.
No, when it
Just
all
kidding.
it's all
That
it
was
doesn't matter.
The lumberjack look.
I mean, at least you're not wearing those big 10-gallon hats that every folk singer wears. I'm sick of those.
Oh, what? I want one.
You know what I'm talking about?
Or
It's like,
Pharrell's
if
hat.
you're gonna be a
hat.
folk artist,
Yeah.
let me style you out. First, you need this 10-gallon hat.
Like
And it's like
Zorro.
it's
the
like,
flat brim, right? Like
I'm a
the-
Portland indie singer songwriter, and they all have this fucking hat on. I'm like, dude, you guys, you look the same.
It's played out.
I remember my first band, full band. I wanted to do it big. Marv Ellis and his imaginary friends had a 13-piece band, string section, horns, acoustic minds, backup singers, everything.
Oh hell yeah.
That broke my bank,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
broke my wallet. I'd sell out a venue, like 500 people, you know, $5, $7 a
And
head,
you'd be
whatever.
in debt.
And I'd break the cheddar down at the end. And if you have 13 people, I always try to pay at least $100 for my musicians.
Yep.
I pay out, and I'm sitting there with like $40 when I did Everything. I put the posters up, design the posters,
Oh, we
book the
know how
show.
that
You know
is.
how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yep.
Now you're in that
That's
realm of
us,
having
too.
a live band, yeah.
That's us,
And I've
too.
seen on multiple videos, multiple different styles of bands, and this is the part of the show in your life. This is the part of the movie where you guys figure out how to make the most bang for your buck, right? Has that started happening yet?
I would say that, man, we really developed a love for the live thing, and we were like, we're just gonna do it no matter what. And I think we both we both made $40 at the end of the tour as well.
Right.
We did the math that it was 40 each after
That's
paying
it.
everybody, and
Right?
like, yeah,
Because
the magic number.
You got to pay for that, man.
That's a musician's
it
salary.
was literally
$40.
$40 each. Yeah. But we really once we started kind of. We can talk about this later too if you want.
Yeah.
But once we really kind of got into the licensing and like
Yeah.
just realm of like how to make the dollar, really count on your work, and like, man, the band at this point is like, yes, we, some shows we've made tons of money, some shows we broke even, some shows we've lost, right? Like everybody, but it's really about just doing it for just like the soul satisfaction at this point, you
like,
know?
what do you want to
Right.
do with your life type of shit, you know?
And we really want to go more and more in the licensing thing too. We've been talking about all sorts of ways to plug ourselves in more and more. And, it seems like a far-fetched idea, but possibly starting like a licensing agency that we could build a catalog and like start getting all of our, friends and musicians together and get their catalog into, something like, what's the website where you pay like a monthly?
Taxi.
No, not like for like you can use like stock footage, stock songs.
I don't remember what that
like
was
any
called.
of those sites, like they're paying those people for those songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
That's what Taxi is, though, a sample or a sync library.
when I was a member to Taxi like 10 years ago, I remember I was just submitting songs for opportunities, and I never scored.
They
one.
have a library too.
So it's probably new. I haven't been on the website in a long time, but either way, I think we're really trying to focus our financial side of the music production towards movies and cinematic stuff and just commercials and anything we can.
the money makers.
Yeah, and then doing the
face it.
band
To sustain
stuff
it. Yeah.
just for
That's
like
fun
pure
too, though.
satisfaction. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you were saying you have some recent.
It's my first dabble. I mean, I've done things like that for friends and stuff, but I've never been corporately hit up.
I found that I really enjoy the process of having someone ask you for something, and then when you're creating a product rather than making art, you are like, you constantly have those like junctions creatively where you're like, should I do this or this?
Right.
And then when you're just doing it for yourself for art, it's really hard to decide sometimes. But if you're doing it for someone else, it's pretty clear,
Especially with notes.
that you take the like more mainstream or more popular. What is the like least common denominator?
Let your personal style kind of go
Yeah,
and let
you,
it
like,
like go for the better product.
Put your weird ass in the closet, shit, and just do the right thing for your client,
Yeah.
And but then that makes you a better songwriter for your own shit, because you're like, well, that's just more relatable to more people. So it's not that I don't have I'm not allowed to be weird, but I just know how to like translate that weirdness better, I guess.
Yeah. We really broke shit down to just like trying to be simplified towards the end of our entire journey, just because we're like, man, we're spending so much production time on these crazy glitchy songs that don't have good reach or like a good
Do nothing
demographic.
for our career.
And then we, so it's like, oh, let's make music that we still like to write, but is more like melody driven and just, a little bit more, not necessarily poppy, but just like mainstream, I guess you could say.
And that
but
reminds
still
me-
keep our style true.
That reminds me, what I was going to say about Glitch Hop is that it relied on that instant dopamine of new. So it's like, oh, that I've never heard that sound before, that fill or whatever, that crazy, like whatever that was that I just heard.
Now you
And
can
my
buy a
mind is
sample pack
blown.
for every glitch shop.
Speaking
sound
of
made.
sample packs,
But then like, one second, but once you get through that dopamine of like, this is new, it doesn't have any shelf life. So like none of that music is listenable today because it was only exciting because
And you're not hooked to a hook. You're not like,
Exactly.
oh, I'm singing that hook
trying
all
to
day. You're just like, that was a crazy song.
We
I don't wanna listen
decided
to that again.
we wanted the music to be more timeless and less just for the time right now.
And for kids, for adults, for a bigger
For the
demographic.
children, we want it for the youth.
so this kind of all fuses into the writing process for you both.
Absolutely.
Like the
All
philosophy
of it.
approach to writing.
Yeah.
Who writes most of the lyrics on the stuff that you produce and put out as Sugarbeats?
Both of
Half
us.
and half.
Half and half.
You think so?
Pretty much.
Oh, between us, but yeah, we
Between
have.
us,
I would
yeah.
say there's a handful that we didn't write different, shout out to Lynx on Westwood Recording. She did the vocal.
But
Kalista has helped on a
Links Liin.
Yeah.
Okay, not Links
exactly
like
right.
from Portland.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
No. Yeah.
And then also Nick Hansen on Super Sauce. Those
Okay.
were like our two biggest features, I'd say. And then in-house we have Kalista has done
Right.
some writing with us, and Hannah has done some writing with us. But the majority,
Rihanna.
and M. Harris.
M. Harris.
And Rihanna Shea.
And
But
I actually want to shout out Olivia Nelson too. She's done some of the songwriting for like licensing stuff. Has like a beautiful pop singer voice.
Yeah, she
So
really
she's our
killed it
go-to.
on some of those. Yeah.
This is
We're
Links.
hearing the music too, yeah?
Yeah, this is Links.
Okay.
Long hair. Oh, technical.
Really quick too. Oh, are you're not rocking that? Okay.
What are we rocking?
He was
here?
just messing with us.
That's okay.
That's okay.
When was Future Funk born? When was that like, this is the new path?
Dude,
Just like
the brand
Frizz is the best, and
The
we
brand
love this
got-
new.
the brand got stolen though.
It
If
did
you
get
look
jacked.
up Future Funk, you find like people sampling old funk songs
Yeah.
and then like bumping up the tempo or pitching it up and putting like some EDM drums, and they're like, "This is it," and I'm like, "No,
This is it.
Right. At first, it was more of like a mid-tempo.
Some of it's cool,
Yeah.
but it's not future funk. It's not the future of funk. They stole the brand and they fucked it up. They fucked a great opportunity up.
You think so?
I think so. I really do. What
Brand meaning that would be your brand?
no, I mean as a genre.
The idea of it.
like Grizz.
Got you.
Big Gigantic. That should have been future funk. It's like taking funk, but now it's future. Because you can't do new funk because they already did that in the early 2000s. New disco, new funk. Now it's future.
And future
everything's
bass
future.
is like a very
Exactly.
new production at the
There was
time, and so
bass
it was like
and
we have
future
future
bass.
bass, which is more like
future beats.
chordsy, melodic.
Right.
Trap is like the more like
Yeah.
and then
Chill
so
trap.
it was kind of
Just
interesting.
made sense.
It made sense. It made perfect sense to have that.
And
Just
someone
be like,
on Reddit or 4chan was like,
or like the
I'm gonna
Noisy
ruin your
Freaks. The
day.
Noisy Freaks are a perfect example
Yeah.
of what future
no,
funk
exactly
should be.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's like EDM, funky EDM, you know?
Okay.
And it's
With
not
the-
house.
with the new
It's not
production
dubstep,
value.
and it's not glitch hop. It's just like this. Like man, it's like you just took a funk band and you just made the production so
You
fire.
turned them all into cyborgs
and it's just exactly.
and gave them lasers for fingers.
You guys drink coffee?
Yeah.
Does
Do you
it
guys
seem
just
like
sit
we're
at the
hyped?
house and just get hyped on stuff and just go off on
We
ideas and
smoke a
stuff?
lot more weed than we drink
I was gonna ask
coffee.
how much you guys burn.
Hella.
Man,
Lots of little what like
only
before,
through the burn
after,
season,
only-
like
yeah.
starting March 1st.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
That's a good point. No, yeah.
Right.
My burn season is through the winter. In the summer, I tend to be like more healthy boy.
A little lighter.
Yeah,
more
or
cleansing.
like sober.
Really?
Sober. Mostly, yeah. I'll drink some. Maybe like
Burning
party.
Man
Maybe do a binge.
It was the
weekend.
polar opposite. He was like full throttle. Burning Man.
But that's
okay,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna be sober the
saying.
rest of the year. But now that Burning Man doesn't
yeah.
exist, you've just
It was my purge week, you know? You're just
No, I
like,
mean,
if I go fucking crazy, no holds barred for a week, then I can be a good boy all year. You know what I mean?
With time, money, energy, the cost of going, the ticket, the toll on your body, how much money do you think, non-monetary and monetarily, you spend on Burning Man every
I've
trip?
done it so cheap.
I was gonna say we've
done
been
it so
intense every
cheap.
year. We just grunged it out.
go hard.
We went hard.
my
We did our own
budget-
camp 3 times, and we camped with other people 3 times.
I
so
did it
it's
for
like,
$700 all in once.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
including
impressive.
the ticket, which is $450. So
And you still haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, but you went to
no.
Burning Man.
I know.
I saw
That's
Daft
pretty
Punk
funny.
at the trash fence though.
The hell, dude. I have it on Blu-ray. You wanna watch
I'm
it?
coming over.
It's on HBO
coming
Max
over
too now.
after this.
Yeah, but I want to go back to your band a little bit because I saw the originals form, and by the time I feel like at this point I've got the ideal band. It's a 3-piece,
I love
right?
all
So-
the bands you've been in, man.
But you know what I mean? Like you could see it over the years. It went from 13-piece down to 3-piece, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at
we're
your
gonna
band,
kick the drummer out.
and I'm watching.
Definitely.
He's all right. He's all right.
It's just an ongoing
joke.
just always threatening to replace him.
He's
with a
okay.
computer.
He's actually gotten a lot better.
No, he's great.
He's good.
We love Lukey. Shout out Lukey.
Shout out Lukey.
Yeah,
Rim
shout
shot.
out Luke. I'm just joking. Luke.
shout out
Okay.
Poke.
His kit
Poker
sounds
Clubs.
sick.
Oh yeah, Medford Poker
If
Club.
you want to see
Gotta
Luke
put my plug in.
smash, yeah, talk
Oh
about it.
hell yeah! I have partial ownership of the Medford Poker Room
Ah,
down on Riverside, and COVID kind of slowed things down. But once things are going again, and get back in there, throw some cards around. We
that
have
bad
Luke
beat.
Rimshaw, our drummer, is one of the main dealers in the
Seriously?
poker room. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So how's it? That reminds me of Kalista telling me that she's all in playing poker, and last week she was playing poker with you, and that makes me think: what is it like having Kalista
Playing
back
poker
in
with
town?
us?
No, listen, like
Back in
having
town.
Eugene's best singer-songwriter voted by the entire city of Eugene, which is 147,000, but really it's almost 250,000 people if you include Springfield and the suburbs and everything.
Right.
And she got voted best singer-songwriter, and now she's back in town here working with you, and she fits the bill for the kind of people you like to work with. What's that like working with her?
Well, we did a handful of tracks with her, so we were already pretty warmed up with her as far as what
But
she can sing.
We'd also been trying to pull her away from her other band for
quite a while.
years, and it was finally COVID was finally did
She
it.
said she was going to quit, and she didn't, and it hurt so bad.
But she's
But
got
then
something
she-
going on
but
that's
then-
kind of her voice with that, you know?
Yeah,
it's not really
absolutely.
what you guys want. It's
Of
what she
course.
wants, and that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and she has that outlet to be like crazy like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was mainly at the beginning, it was only a problem because we were double booking
was
shows,
the
and
double
she was
booking.
getting
It wasn't
paid to do some of these
we
shows,
weren't,
and
we weren't
were
trying
like,
to steal her
yeah.
like that. It was just like, oh, especially for holidays, because we don't
Yeah.
play as many shows. They would play every weekend, and we'd just be like, we just do the big ones like holidays.
Yeah, they
and-
went hard.
And they were like, well, we have the next 3 years booked out for Halloween.
and we're like, we got to get like
sick.
5 gigs from
She's
this
a
girl
vicious
year.
booking
Dude,
person.
they are
Yeah.
everywhere.
She's
It's-
vicious,
It's
bro.
impressive.
It is.
I booked this show at Sam Bonds like 8 months ahead, and I knew it was going to be there in the block party on a Saturday night. I was like, yo, what's up with the August 1st weekend for, can I get that? And they're like, yeah, sure, for sure, Marv. And it was the only paid show in the whole block party, right?
Yeah.
Just packed, you know, nobody can get in. And then I remember talking to Clee, she's like, how did you do that? And I was like, oh, I just went in early, you know. I went in like, and that reminded me, and I was like, I'm going to go back in this weekend. Went in that weekend, I was like, so what's up with getting August 3rd for the block party again? We crushed it last year. And like, Fortune's Folly and Kalista already booked that 2 days ago. And I was like, that woman, man.
Always
That was-
one step ahead.
That was stealthy.
Yeah.
That was stealthy. And
She's
I
a
gave
go-getter.
respect. I gave respect.
She's a go-getter.
I gave respect. I was like,
That's
dope.
awesome.
I see how it is.
Nice,
By the
Calista.
way, I'm never playing here again. Peace out.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we want you. I was like, sorry, man. You chose. This is the way.
Hey, there's old Ron and,
And this
Judy.
is the Medford Social Poker Room
Correct.
Club.
Yeah.
Correct. We got Corey
It's a
dealing over
fine
there. We got Eric
establishment.
dealing right there.
And you're a part of
Luke
this.
is not. Yeah. Yeah. I turned into a degenerate for a minute. I was
Were you the
playing-
model for the logo when you
I
were a
would-
degenerate for a minute?
That king
That's me
guy.
bending over silhouetted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, they should have hired oh, it's the bad beat thing.
What is that?
So
That's the
bad
jackpot,
beat,
basically.
Oh.
If you were to get aces and eights and someone had aces and nines
Uh-huh.
You win the jackpot, basically.
for like what was it?
Half goes to the
20K,
loser, quarter to the winner. The rest of the quarter goes to the
split
table
to
share.
the table,
yeah.
so everybody wins.
Okay.
It just
That-
keeps everything.
Oh,
juicy.
Ricky!
This looks fun.
Shout out Ricky.
Shout out Ricky.
This is one of the-
It started in Ashland though. I started playing in Ashland. Arthur, the owner, had the place below Red Zone. I was playing cards
It was
every night.
awesome.
We were having a great time, and he expanded a Grants Pass in Medford, and he was
Oh
so
yeah, there's
kind to
one
let
here
me
too, isn't there?
be a part of
Is
that.
it still open or no?
It's still open, I think,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah,
as
there's
many
one here
games
if
a
you like
week.
cards.
Yeah, we have one in Grants Pass as well.
So this is one of the things we'll talk about later, but it's one of the ways you supplement the push with the music, you know? Right?
Yeah, it's
I
about
would say
building
that.
streams, passive income, you know, just so we can do more
Absolutely.
things
And we keep
creatively.
kind of tiptoeing away from this band
Let's stop
because
tiptoeing
it's
away from
fun.
the
It's
band.
fun. No, it's fun to talk about
Uh-huh.
all these things that go in any direction.
He brought
with you guys.
the pictures.
He does. He's the red leader.
Teaser.
He knows what's up. But I still want to talk about the evolution of the band and particularly the horn section. I noticed that now you have on horns
tones.
tones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then you also work with the high step.
Yeah. So
Dude.
Yeah, if we could have them, we would.
our biggest thing though is like at a certain point we started a separate project called Diamond and a Lotus that was separate from Sugarbeats, and we wanted to shoot this video. We shot it in Tracktown.
Tracktown,
Yeah, and Jeremy, we got the horn section, the string section. We made a cool thing, and it was for our new project. But that was when we first got them all together to play with us.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we should, do some more horns. Then we had New Year's Eve a few years ago at the McDonald's. We had Jeremy playing sax, alto. We had Poom. I don't know if we had
Those
Alex.
guys are amazing.
Jeremy,
guys.
amazing.
Jeremy also did all the sheet music
Right.
Yeah.
from our.
We have that,
from
which is
our,
awesome.
from ear.
I
Just
just
want
want to shout those guys out.
Shout out,
You guys
Bohemian
are
Dub Orchestra.
amazing. You guys played.
Oh, here.
Is this what it is?
No, this
this
is our collab at the
Okay.
Hi-Fi Hall or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the,
yeah,
hi-
se-
the Hi-Fi,
sessions.
which is
Yeah.
now Sessions.
Which is now
High
Sessions.
Fidelity.
I remember when that
Yeah,
opened.
so we did
man.
a.
But
we did
that's
a
when we
collab track.
kind of met them, and I
Oh,
started
okay.
talking with Jeremy a lot about getting all the sheet music and stuff for our next
Yeah.
tour or whatever.
Is that McDonald?
That's
Yeah.
at the McDonald's.
That's
yeah.
awesome, man. Look at you guys.
That was a blast, and that
That's
was
so
when we just
cool.
had the dub orchestra.
That's a good feeling, that place, huh?
Dude, it was
When
great.
it's
It was
packed
sold
and
out,
popping.
man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was a
It
good
was
time.
one of our bigger shows.
We
at
didn't
the
have
time.
horns that time; it's just strings.
And this is what is this one here?
It's funny watching you put on weight and then lose weight.
That's
throughout
Hannah
the years.
singing
Okay.
a song off the new Fly High album, which was our Kickstarter album. So this is where we ended up probably a year after our Kickstarter, once
Okay.
we had the album done basically, and
See,
we're doing some of it live,
Look at you banging on the drum pads.
Yeah.
banging my extra 15 pounds around.
But you carry it well, my man.
Thanks, brother.
Carry it well. And that's the Bohemian Dub
Orchestra on the left.
Orchestra, and then so that's Baroque Betty's
Yeah,
squad. Some of her players,
Yeah.
right?
that was at the very beginning too.
It was
you know.
it was pretty early for them.
But what
too.
happened? I can't remember exactly what initiated Poom and Alex just being like our main dudes.
It was because we did Stereo Midnight tour with High Step.
Oh,
opening
yeah.
for us.
for like
Okay.
3 of the shows, right?
And, yeah, and so since they were there on the road with us,
Yeah.
we could just
We gave them the
borrow
sheet music, right? That's
We
what
gave
That's
we
dope.
had the sheet music, and they also came down to rehearse with us.
And-
But all of our rehearsals have been like on stage right
Yeah, it's
before
bad.
we play.
I was gonna ask you
It's
about how
bad.
you all
It's
get together and rehearse.
crazy. No, it's fucked.
we didn't at that time. We rehearsed in an
Until
Airbnb
until now.
for like 2 hours before that.
didn't even get a
New
sound
Year's
check.
Eve show. We didn't get a sound check because Medium Troy had a huge thing going on.
Well, you know
And
how they are.
Yeah, and we
Shout
love
out
them. Though.
JoJo.
Shout out JoJo and Jesse and
love you guys.
Connor. But
Yeah, what up, Jesse? I like you.
Yeah, I heard about some shit. Yeah.
Anyways, get the fuck out.
Jesse's cool.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He's cool. I liked them when they were playing all together as a band. They had this one song
And
about
Colin.
smoking in the graveyard. That was my cut.
Nice.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's a little something more
I
to this
still
story.
I got a
Space
feedback
Tree or
on it.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that better?
There you are. Trev, you want to talk again?
I just said I felt like there's a little more to that story.
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't
we
know
could talk
anything.
about. There's movies called Kindergarten Cop where people are childish, but we don't need to talk about that. So when you guys get together and rehearse, you guys are sort of piecing it together right before the show on stage.
in the past
No,
days.
literally, yeah.
Yeah,
Until this
really bad.
band, because people would live all sorts of places. Kalista lived in Portland, so like at
When?
that time, you didn't know that.
For a while.
She didn't
Like a
say
year or
anything
two.
about that.
Oh yeah, she doesn't tell it. No, I'm just.
She's
kidding.
kind of
But,
she's
no,
kinda
it's-
quiet.
She worked at the Crystal Ballroom up there
Oh,
doing
yeah.
A&R
She did
or
talk about
whatever.
that.
We pretty much just book a show and be like, all right, everybody, let's get together before the show, practice your parts. We'd show up, we'd get a little practice in, and then we'd play the show. It was really
But
tough.
it was literally the first time we would play with every single person. There'd always be at least one person missing was on stage. So it
So
was
you
kinda
guys
we
are the
could never-
band. You guys are that band that does that.
We
Where you're
are,
like, we're gonna need a couple more, maybe 10, 20 more minutes.
Well,
Let's go.
No,
over
we
to
never
some-
got the time because we were
Did
never
you?
the headliner.
Did you give him the clip of Ramble On? Because at one point
Is the Ramble On Rough Cut clip in there?
there's like a.
It's actually pretty.
we were
pretty
playing
funny.
Ramble On and we had the routing messed up.
Yeah.
For the backing track, so there was no backing track. It was just
And the click was coming out of the mains. Like I don't know. how the
metronome was
fuck that-
coming through, and it was just drums, guitar, and vocals.
Mm.
And I remember like looking, they're all in ears, so they can't
In
tell.
our in-ears, there's full
And we
backing
have-
tracks, and I'm just on the drum
but it's-
pad just getting it. Like it's fully going, and the
And
whole
I'm-
band's crushing, and outside it's kind of like...
And I'm just thinking like, I'm like, can I just not hear it because the monitors are bad? Or like, I actually leave stage, go out onto the front, and I'm like, run up to the sound booth. I'm like, what is wrong? And he's like, that's on your end, man. I was like, okay, run over, figure out the problem. And then timed it with the drop, so it all came together. And then after the show, Nara from High Step is
you
like,
guys
dude,
really broke it down. Yeah,
he's
turn
like
up the
that-
audio for this one just because it's
like,
like
I love
this
how
is
you
the
broke it
crowd's
down there.
perspective.
Okay, I got the volume up.
look at Lukey looks so young too.
And that's
Hana. She sings with King, or not sings. Well, does sing, and plays fiddle. King Roy Wing. Shout out King Roy Wing. Favorite.
So this at this moment, what's happening?
No, I don't know what's happening.
This is the intro of the song.
So he's playing guitar, and there's supposed to be a backing track.
but it's only guitar. And then like she comes in, there's supposed to be.
And then he's playing some claps on drum pad.
I want to ask you something right now.
So this is what it looks like to
very
bond.
scary. They were all looking at each other, kind of.
But see, what you have on stage with you is
It's just drums and guitar.
right, but you have Rabbit playing,
Yes.
and when you have Rabbit playing guitar,
Luckily, that's what held it down, is what I'm saying.
that's what I'm saying. So
That's
what's
the
it like
only
to have
reason.
Rabbit in the squad? Because
Shout
honestly,
out Rabbit.
come on, man.
Shout out the Illies.
He's 5 for 6 on the podcast now. Is he 5 for 6 or 4 for 5?
Getting a shout out.
Everybody talks about
everybody-
Rabbit.
Well, you
because
brought
he's
him
very
up.
vital.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
he
brought
is.
him up because he's part of your crew.
Yes,
Isn't
When
he
we-
like a founding, like not
When-
founding, but like
He's one of the first.
I got something to say.
He's got it.
Tell me.
He's got it. Take it away.
I was just gonna say he was really intrigued by our like production mainly,
Yeah.
and he wanted to kind of push himself. He was like, "I love what I'm doing, but it's simplistic."
And he didn't like.
He was at that moment he was touring
With Mystic Roots.
nationally with the reggae band.
with Mystic Roots,
Right.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it
they
was
were big.
there. You know, it's like he's doing his thing. He loves it, but he wanted something to push himself. And like what we started doing with him is using him for solos at the beginning, and he would just shred. We'd take his solo, we'd chop up the audio files, we'd piece it back together, and be like, "All right, here's your pimped out
then he'd
solo.
relearn it.
Relearn your solo now." And then he'd relearn it to play it live. Son of an Outlaw. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Like-
he's a beast.
Yeah.
Everybody that's talked about him
But
is like
he was like, that is so, he was like, it was so funky and weird and hard and like challenging to relearn this solo that you guys just chopped the hell out of and put back together. And it made it, he really expressed how fun that was
There
for
he
him.
is.
Yeah, Rabbit is he's one of those people. He's a there's musicians, there's producers, there's front people, there's tastemakers, and then there's this another level of musician that exists around here, and they provide that extra oomph that every project really could use and need for live, for
They just
recording.
played the perfect part.
Yeah, there's key players like Tony Tones, Rabbit. They're just multi-instrument. Nick Kirby.
Brian
Kinda like
Reisling
connectors,
also, he
too.
was,
Yeah, these are-
he's a lot of horns on our tunes. Actually,
Yeah.
we worked
All
with
this
Brian
stuff.
a lot in the
I
past.
want to have a cast with just those players. You know what I mean?
That'd
Because
be
they're
funny.
they're
So
in multiple group.
Poom is another one.
Boom and
Poom,
Alex. Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, Rabbit, Poom, Alex, Tony Tones, Nick
It sounds
Kirby.
like a super band is forming
Right?
right now.
Mega band. They're like all super
rule all
multi-talented.
bands.
One band. to
That's how I
rule
feel
all
like what our
bands.
band is,
Yeah.
except for we're the weakest links, but we're still
But
holding it
so
down.
that band, that mega band for you, what do you see it being? How many pieces?
If
What would be ideal?
druthers, I'd add 2 backup vocalists, but before that, a trumpet for sure.
a trumpet
And a
or a
trombone.
trombone.
A bone.
Or both.
That's
trumpet.
really all we really.
We really
need.
like a horn section.
We'd like to get rid
It
of our
lights-
drummer
it-
too. I don't know if I mentioned that.
A horn section sets it off. Are you guys just fucking with me? Or,
No, all that was good. I'm just kidding about
Okay,
the drummer. We love you, Lukey.
yeah, don't mess with him
He
too
was
hard.
slacking,
He'll
so we
take
brought
it.
Maddie in a couple times.
He's a tough one. He can handle it.
He
Yeah,
seems
we
like a
brought
cool guy.
Maddie.
He's very polite.
He's really good.
He's
very cool.
great. He's great. We've raised him well.
Yeah.
And the recording
our
of
son.
the live recording of the drums, by the way, maybe it was the cordial cables,
I think it was.
or was it just Joe Dinkowitz on sound? Either way, the
Double
drum
whammy.
sounded fire.
Was it
Yeah.
raw
at your show.
talent or just raw?
It was the
raw
perfect storm.
resource? Yeah.
It was the
Meeting of
perfect
two.
storm.
Yeah.
Meeting of the 5 or 6. There was things happening in there that, I mean, the drum sounded great. You guys are engineers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What
Or
are you-
first.
What are you
first.
mixing on?
So producer first.
Producer first.
and
Producer
musician.
first.
No, rapper.
From
Bad math first. Bad math
the
first.
streets.
From the streets of France.
We love
Ashland.
Noah for the live audio engineering side of things because it's too much for us to think, like
Can't
to
be
do all that while we're
everywhere at
performing.
once.
So it's like we really don't have like a ton of experience. Like we both have experience. I ran sound with Gabe, Nautilus Sound for a while, and Randy and stuff. And Luke learned a ton in school. And we do have both experience from a lot of different shows where we have had to set up our own stuff. But in the long run, we are definitely the producer.
Mostly
mind.
in the box
Yeah.
production
Well,
too,
let's-
not analog production so much.
Okay.
Though I get it, I understand signal.
It's
flow.
awesome, but
It's all about software.
if you've seen the
About
Gates video of what was that video called of like just how to your workflow, like just all the different things. I can't remember what the video is called, but it was like an Gates videos, 3 parts, and it was like how to
Oh, yeah,
prioritize
his masterclass.
your songwriting, your production time, your hours that you're working, turning off your phone, do all the stuff that really matters. If you're getting stuck on something, put it aside, start something new, like just multiple things that really helped. I don't know if I watched that with Luke, but I definitely remember,
or probably separately.
I remember watching it and being like, man, this guy is so right. Like, do not get hung up on these songs. Like, you have creative flow, keep it going, don't get it stuck, and that's like a huge. We went from like, let's take 6 months to finish a song to like, let's finish a song in a day to like, let's take a couple months on a song.
Right.
Well, and our songs used to be like 6-7 minutes long, and now we're like 2.5 is a good song ending time.
To 4, 3.5, 3.5, 2.5 to 3.5. I
feel
my
like
sweet spot.
Over 3.5.
3:15 is
people
a
are gonna
sweet
skip
spot.
it anyway a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever have that? Do you ever have that desire to take your whole squad? Let's just pretend you have a paid for mountain lodge. You get to pick some people to come up to the Udio. You're gonna bring your stuff up there to record your mobile unit, and you get to pick some people to bring with you to write some. Say you have to produce an EP for something for somebody huge, for yourselves, whatever, a big project. It's a big project, whatever it may be.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, but have you ever done it?
No, because I feel like we can never like justify the cost versus like it's not like I don't want to, but we can never get everybody together at the same time necessarily. And then also it's like, man, we have a really dope studio. Like, let's just get together and write some music.
Yeah,
And
in the
like-
studio.
Yeah, in the studio.
In the
So-
warehouse space.
Yeah, let's talk about the studio. Can we get the studio up? Do you guys on video of that?
There's
You
a
could do the-
video.
Because I was talking about you guys being builders.
Do the
of many things.
2019
We literally building in this.
This is your new studio,
update, 2019
there's a
update.
studio space and a warehouse space
Right.
that are separate.
so both these spaces are separate,
Yeah,
Correct.
This is actually the warehouse.
That's
the
space
warehouse.
right now.
right?
That.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all in
the-
the same video.
Throw the whole video.
Well, I want to
on
talk
just-
about the studio first, but that goes
It'll
between
show
the
the
two.
studio
We'll show
first.
it in a second.
We could actually, it's a short video. Let's just turn on the sound really quick.
No, I don't want to.
No, okay.
I want
no,
to talk
no
about
sound.
this. So
There it
this
is.
is
So
you. You
that's
guys
the
are
studio.
building it.
That,
Yeah.
Who's that?
that's my
Donnie.
buddy Donnie,
Okay.
and he's
Can you
he's
pause it?
handyman.
Not yet. Not
there it
yet.
is.
This
There
is
it
the
is.
studio
Not
too.
yet.
That is.
Not yet.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh,
That's perfect.
That's it.
So you.
420.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Organic.
So yeah,
So-
it's about 300 square feet. We pinned.
Okay.
We went all in. I mean,
Yeah,
so
you did.
so this thing, just for a little recap, was like a chicken coop of my mother's in the back in the day.
shit.
It turned into a pottery space. It turned into my music studio way back in the day when we were doing hip hop stuff.
man.
It transformed and formed into my dad's space where he was living for a minute, and then it's just been a million things. And the walls were chicken wire and
Yeah.
plaster, and we were like, let's frame inside of it, redo it right. We
Yeah.
did like 4 inches of soundproofing, really dense. We did it
Mm-hmm.
in most of the floor. There was a part where there was dirt and it was elevated, so we couldn't, but we did most of the floor. And then we did all the, what was the company that we did the sound panels?
Vicoustic.
I gave him all the dimensions, everything
Shipped
of the
in from
room.
Portugal or some shit.
It's from
Had
the
to wait
company's out of
6
Sweden.
months.
We had to wait forever, but it's really cheap, and they just have a whole bunch of sound acoustic scientists basically figure out all your stuff. And like, do you want it to be a production room? Do you want it to be for like recording, or do you want it to be for mixing and mastering? And they figure out what you want your reverb time to end up being in the end of it all, and they treat your room depending on where you want that end reverb time to actually sit for what you're doing in the space. So that was really cool to learn something about that, treat it specifically for production, for mixing, but also for recording. Not, just having it like dry enough, but not like absolute. It's like the amount of diffusion to absorption in there is like perfect for what we're doing.
You like the sound of it?
It's crazy. And those barefoot
So
speakers
I
are
was-
just like the
Yeah.
best sounding.
So crisp.
Oh
I
my
was in
God.
there when it was 3/4 done, like 80%.
Oh yeah. After
That was the first time I played with
After
you
the-
guys.
after
and
the
then,
hip hop show.
Yeah, we went to here.
and this desk company actually just posted that picture on their website.
What is it?
it's
AZ
clean.
Studios.
AZ Studios.
Shout out
Yeah.
AZ Studios.
Yeah, I mean, you guys built a space pod, and in this space pod, you are doing. This is where you do most of your licensing work, your recording, your
All the production,
It's
all
most
the
of our
production.
writing,
The money gets
even.
made there.
writing.
Because we actually haven't
the
written
work.
a song with the band yet, and that's on our to-do list. But
Wow.
we actually do pretty much everything in-house,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So a lot of practicing and like live stuff in this warehouse space that we built.
And yeah, this is the warehouse.
Yeah,
which
so
you call
that was the vision. I took
what do you
that
call this?
studio. I was like, I want to
We
kind
call
of
it the warehouse.
But it
pretty sweet studios.
this is Pretty Sweet Studios.
Yes, Pretty Sweet Studios.
This one.
No, that's Sugarbeats Studio.
So that's Sugarbeats Studio.
That's our production studio. That's for
Okay.
Sugarbeats. And then
That's his
I got
old
into
living
video
room.
with all the
Look at
vlogging
your luscious
stuff.
hair, Luke.
That was an armory show for Halloween. That was fun.
And you produce some Pro Tools or what do you-
Ableton.
Ableton.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just kind of where I started DJing and mixing stems and stuff. And like I actually, we both talk about it. We're like, we want to just start doing some more turntable type of stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily vinyl or anything specific, but like just anything in
Rabbit.
general. Yeah, good old Rabbit. But anyways, yeah, so production studio, warehouse space is actually a separate business. Pretty Sweet Studios is something that we kind of just started to host people in Ashland that can't afford high budget music videos. Really give a
That's
plug.
what I was going to ask you. What is the deal with the studio?
Man, it's like
the
mainly, you know, I wanted to be everything in one at first, but you know, after talking with a lot of our friends and like me and Luke having all the Sugarbeat stuff that happens in there simultaneously, I was like, man, finding a crew to do everything, encompassing everything is really tough. So I mainly rent out the space. I mainly don't even really see what people shoot in there. They just use the space, the psych wall to do their, you know, Harry and David's shot some gift baskets on there for
That's
for
the
their
wall
holiday
that you
something.
need right there.
Yeah, that's the wall that you need.
Yeah.
And so that was basic. It was around that, but it was also to support our music, and it was also just to support all our friends out there that don't want to spend 10 grand on a music video.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
they want to be like, I got a GoPro, I just need a cool space to shoot it. Can I rent the space? You know, it's like, oh, we have a light package you can add on to renting the space. You know, it's some really cool light bars and different stuff like that, fog machines. But it's like,
Look at that acoustic treatment.
and so
Nice.
the biggest goal with this space was to start like a tiny desk concert thing, like you guys are doing here at the Hive, kind of, you know, having people come through weekly and play. And COVID really switched that whole perspective for us. It really turned it into more of like a rent out space rather than we just, you know, being sensitive at the beginning of all this to everybody that's, you know, dealing with that. And I think it's really cool where it's leading. We had and Dubious came through and shot a little thing, and you know, the website is very brand new. I have somebody building it right now, but we have like tons of stuff that's come through there, and eventually it'll be more showcased on the website.
I mean, this is what I mean by building an empire. Not just music, but film.
That sounds very ambitious, empire.
How much film are you into? Like, or more than fans? You
In middle
score.
school, Ashland Middle School, there was an elective called WAMS. It's called Watching AMS, and I was in there after hours in school learning how to edit on Final Cut. And
So that's your background.
I'm the video guy,
Okay.
kind of skateboarding.
He's
I
really
used to
good
film
at it.
skate videos.
Oh,
I got into vlogging with my chick for a bit, you know, YouTube stuff. And like there's this guy Dan Mace, who's, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's a YouTuber, and he brought vlogging to like Casey Neistat is like a huge vlogger, but Dan Mace, he brought Dan Mace to New York to work with him on his new studio in New York. And it was like watching that evolution happen and watching Dan help Casey on his daily vlogs. I was like, what are these guys making? Like the highest end of vlogs you could ever imagine, like so much production talent into like the shortest video. And that was just like so mind blowing to me. I watched him just grow so hard in that aspect, and he taught me a lot. I mean, I watched like so many tutorials on different stuff, not just with him, but like his styles gave me so much like just foresight into like, what can I do with our band? What can we do with this space? What can I provide? Like, what are the tools needed to give like the broadest, you know, option at the buffet? You're like, what do I want to do here? I want to make this type of video, this type of video, this type of video, like be able to do it. And I hate to say I don't like learning so many things at once, because it's like I have to learn them to be able to visualize them and to be able to play with them. And that's like, it was very overwhelming.
Except you do though. Like he's up till like 4 a.m. watching videos and just obsessive. Like video is funny. I always say it's like his reluctant like superpower or something. Like it's one of those talents. He's really good at it, but reluctantly he's like, I hate doing it.
I just don't like the time that goes into editing. I have uveitis with my eyes, and like screen time does not help the condition of my eyes, and I really do not. So I like when I'm sitting in front of the computer, especially on a nice day, I'm like, my eyes just like don't feel good from this. And it's like, it kills me. So it's like I would rather shoot stuff and be in the production side of video stuff more than actually editing it. And we have a dude, EJ Olson Media up in Portland, and he has done a handful of our videos, really good job. And we do send stuff to him to finish off or to do sometimes. And I'm kind of getting to the point with these last 2 music videos for our recent EP that are unfinished. I'm like, I need to just get all the scenes at least edited into the best shots, and then I'm going to give him all the scenes to make the full videos.
Why don't we take a look at what you have started doing with this video warehouse, Pretty Sweet Studios? Can we pull up 1873? Yeah. This is a video that you just dropped, and you kind of just fully flexing the battle station with this video, right?
Pretty much.
This is a full
This was
flex.
like our first. This was our first like the first time that we green screened out the whole cyc wall to the point where it worked, but like we had to take it the stylistic of the point of the video in a different direction because we're actually looking at painting that whole cyc wall green this week. The shadows covering that much space with cloth made it a little bit,
and the fog and
a
lights.
little bit dynamic on like shadowing and stuff. And so we had to work a little bit harder to kind of like, but EJ shot the dark portion of Kalista in this video actually in a studio in Eugene. And so we were shooting something to kind of match what he had already started.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, perfect, we have a studio space to do this. Let's mess with it. And we kind of did it how we wanted to do it in the time frame that we had, because we really wanted to get that video out kind of around the release. And it was really cool because EJ and his team filmed our last big show at the Armory with a full crew and had like all this shot list to get different things. And we ended up taking that live reel and putting it in the end of this
this
video.
is it right here.
So it's like production studio goes live music video.
People at home can't see this, but we're looking at orange and purple lighting. This was filmed.
So the guy was filmed in our space, and Kalista was filmed in.
Shout out JP.
You maxed it really well.
They can see it if they watch it on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
Correct.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we're gonna finish. This is the way
of having it out there. So when I listen to some of the music you guys make, I get massive hits of different things. Ennio Morricone. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
I get
Spaghetti Western.
I get Outkast. Right. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, you guys cover Notorious Big, but then you'll mix. It sounded like there's this one that sounded like Ennio, and then it became Notorious Big, but it was an intro to another song.
That's the original song
Rise.
that he sampled.
Herbie Hancock.
Oh, it was Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the sample that he used for that song,
it's
right?
Herb. What the fuck is his name? Herb. Not Herb Alpert. Maybe it is.
Herb Alpert, the guy with the whipped cream covers and all the crazy covers. He's famous for the covers.
I have his vinyl at home, and that's how I found it. And I was like, oh, I knew this sounded familiar, because they just take the 8-bar loop or whatever, 4-bar. But it's a whole song before that. So we're like, how cool would this be if we did the whole drawn out thing, and then we come to the cover,
the biggie part,
or come into where the loop happens, and then we'll start singing. Just because like part of like the idea of that set was doing a funk tour de force, and it was kind of like taking you through the different phases and genres within funk, because you have like electro funk, you have like some of them more like cowboy kind of funk stuff, or like on the Ennio Morricone style, and then with sampling and just bringing everything to like current day, and like Talking Heads funk versus like Stevie Wonder funk. To me, it's all very different.
I was going to ask you about some of the OGs that you pull from.
Yeah,
musically.
Stevie's definitely in there.
So you like Stevie?
Yeah, he's a big Talking Heads.
I was obsessed with Talking Heads.
Yeah, man.
David Burns was my man. I was like, this guy is just so innovative. And his big old shoulders, I was like, this
he's
guy.
the man.
Yeah,
I was obsessed.
And Parliament.
Parliament was a huge thing. I mean, like I said, when I did that speech, like I wasn't messing around. I was lunch, before breakfast, everything, bumping tunes out the Escort, all funk as loud as possible. I was like, we fucking are representing the funk in Asheville. We're bringing it back. I don't know why I was so adamant about.
You felt the call.
Yeah.
You felt the call. I was bumping big band music like Benny Goodman in high school, like bumping it, like pulling up to school.
Yeah.
I would listen to 91.1,
Yeah.
like the Symphony station. I wasn't listening to pop radio, and people were like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It just feels relaxing.
Bombastic.
You know what I mean? It's like you feel the call, like you see life cinematically,
Yeah. Yeah. It's your soundtrack.
You just, that's kind of what it is. And when you hear that and you just fully delve into what you love, perhaps you'll find happiness later in life. And it seems like you guys are pretty happy right now. Yeah. You're doing what you love.
Might be a little too much to ask for happiness, but
Is it?
I don't know.
You're building?
It's an attitude, right? You
Yeah,
can be happy with
it's
whatever.
mental.
Yeah. So I don't know. Some days are better than others, right?
Sarah Dion Brooks, our previous guest this week, she's an NLP, neuro-linguistic programmer.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about positive reinforcement with your words that you say,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Works.
Well, I have a dark sense of humor, so
I can see it in the way you look at me.
you really do.
You have a dark sense of humor in you. I can see it in your eyes.
I'm not thinking anything, man.
I can see it in your eyes.
Truth,
I can
though,
feel
yeah.
it. That'd be a good one for the Braveheart. I can see it in your eyes.
Most of my demons have been purged at this point. I'm a good boy.
Okay.
Says
Tell me
the
about
werewolf.
Westwood Recordings.
Westwood
what
is
is
dope as
family-
shit these
Okay.
days. You know,
That's our family.
What
yeah,
is it?
that album that we did the Kickstarter for,
Yeah.
that was our first full length release, maybe even first release at all with Westwood, and they were like so stoked to release that album. And you know, they were just building their label. They were so small at the time, and we've always loved the Funk Hunters. Like we saw them at What the Festival way back when. Like we were just like, who are these two dudes that reminded us of us? Like maybe 5-10 years ahead of us, you know,
And
just
the
love the
coolest
best
dudes.
funk cuts. Yeah.
Just like
Just the coolest dudes. And
Down
so
to
when they
earth.
said that they were starting a label, you know, Nick specifically, like shout out Dunks too though. He plays the 5-hour after sets in the boiler room, you know.
Okay.
Nick runs the label and is kind of the brains behind what the logistics of how the label works. And man, they're just so on it. They're so stoked on their roster. They treat their musicians so well. We had a bad run with a label called Adapted Records out of Australia. We released like 40 or 50 songs with them. No shout out. Yeah, big old finger. We released like 40 to 50 songs with them. They pulled everything from distribution,
leave it
didn't
right
give
there?
us royalties. So
Trev, right
to all
there.
you out there that are listening to our songs on different platforms, there's like 40 or 50 tracks that are missing that you cannot listen to right now. And we are working on releasing a back catalog with Westwood to cover all those songs and get them back onto the platforms. But Adapted Records screwed a lot of artists over by pulling all of his releases, and he didn't pay people for the last half a decade as well. But so we're working on re-releasing Pretty Young Things, Groove City Romance, Riding Through the Darkness, all of those. Some of our
Legacy.
best eras. That EP was accepted by Monster Cat, who sells more electronic music like out of any platform, or did at the time online. But Adapted was like, no, you already said we could have it. And we were like, okay, whatever. That was like an opportunity of
we were
a
so
lifetime.
young, too.
We were so naive. He's like, it's already
said.
submitted. And we're like, okay, I guess we can't. But that would have been like a fucking rocket ship to our career.
Yeah.
And we put it in the back seat for this piece of shit that ended up screwing us over in the end.
I'm sorry.
So, but no worries, because we've learned from it. We got the best label supporting us possible. They've brought us up to Canada for multiple shows. We did a double header with Delhi to Dublin, opening for them at the Commodore, and a couple like really
Sugar nightclub.
you know, they do what they can to get us up there. It's not easy to fun wise to get us up there when we're not like,
That's what the
Yeah.
van
You know.
is for, too.
The what?
the van.
Which van?
The Sprinter van.
The one that I sold tomorrow.
Yeah, the one you sold it.
No,
Is
but
it
Westwood
time?
is just so innovative, bro.
might not
And,
be
and they have helped us with licensing stuff. They have helped us. You know, they shop their catalog to different companies and work with a lot of big companies, and like they're just doing it right. And there's a lot of Low Temp was Grammatics label that shut down.
All good.
All Good Grizz's label shut down, and like Westwood kind of embodied this era of like electronic music that was like, some of it was a little too out there, like we were talking about the glitch hop stuff, but they still supported it, and they still are kind of on, you know, our last few releases, that type of stuff.
Okay.
They just like, they're really supporting the scene of this niche of electronic music that like was about to kind of fizzle out in some ways.
And we ended up with like a lot of the guys we were looking up to, like Sticky Buds, K-Lab, like to
Songs we were playing in our sets.
yeah.
Aha.
And then they had played some of our songs in their sets, like Sticky Buds, as an example. But it was just cool to be like, oh, here we are with the people we admire. It's
Down the
kinda
road,
like-
it's like we all
it's
just
kinda
kind of
like-
funneled into the same fam.
Yeah.
It was like, man, all these people, we were just like, who are these people? This is the music we want to make. And now they're kind of like, a lot of them are on Westwood, and like, you know, we talk to regularly.
It's
and
kind of a
communicate.
badass name.
Westwood.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's hella badass.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Did they ask you to do a sample pack, or did they give you the opportunity and volunteer
asked
the
us,
option?
We had already been thinking about it.
Because that's kind of what I know a few bands have done during COVID.
Oh, this was actually pre-COVID.
This is pre.
Yeah, because Splice came out, and then it was like, I think people just realized, like, for one, like, I can get sounds from my favorite artists, like in a curated sample pack. And then for two, the artists were like, I can make way more money selling my samples than I can selling my music.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect storm. And we'd just been talking about it and obviously not getting the momentum. And it's great to have a label just be like, hey, do it.
Yeah.
And they actually advanced us too on it. So it was like, you're getting paid for sure. Just fucking go through all your old shit, compile all the dope sounds.
Yeah. What is this? What's a Sugarbeat sound?
Well, there was
What's your favorite drums?
Sprinkles, a little bit of zazz, a little bit of zest.
Left a lot of drums out because most of our drums are from sample packs.
Yeah,
right.
So I didn't want to just recycle. So most of what I included was sound design I've done from scratch. Like,
Okay.
You know,
And some of our
loops,
synth lines and guitar lines and stuff.
and little samples that are like, oh, this could be repurposed. A lot of little vocal snippets that you're like, hey, if someone needs a cut, a vocal chop, you know.
So what up, dude?
Huh?
What's up, man? Give me another sample pack. So hook it up.
We got it on the hard drive for
Cool.
you. Yeah.
I got my.
But where is it for sale too? If anybody else wants it,
if producers out there, you want to.
It was on Westwood's.
So I think it's on
that's why I had
Westwood.
the screen up because I could see it on the screen. Is that where you would go to Westwood Recordings and that's where I
can't remember.
You know, it's honestly, if you know like ADSR or any of these other sample packs.
And Splice.
Yeah,
we can find you on there,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Charlie tune a vocal pack right there. Let's get
what?
That.
If you go to
Charlie,
yeah, you don't know about
Charlie's
this?
awesome with
He has a
Charlie is
vocal pack.
Charlie is with Westwood. It's like
my boy.
We got to meet him.
Oh really?
At Burning Man.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I could see him killing it out there.
Aside from meeting him, we got to listen to him do a vocal part over our song that the Funk Hunters played on a headlining set on Camp Question Mark with like 10,000 people, and I was sitting on a couch.
And you shed a tear.
It was amazing. There's a video of it.
Were you
I was like, Charlie's spitting over our track right now.
Freaking out.
What makes you cry out of pure euphoria and happiness? Is it seeing something like that, or is it
kind of like when you drain like a basketball shot from full court?
Yeah.
You're just like, I did it.
When
I did it.
My first year at Burning Man, not to beat it like a dead horse, but
that's cool.
I showed up alone. I had a ride share, and I like came on to Playa, and I'm like, my friends, they told me an address where we're camping, and I showed up there, and nobody's there. Like there was nothing. So I was like, oh great.
You've been
here I am alone in the desert.
There's always 1 year.
So I'm like, okay, fucking start walking, just see like a big green pyramid with a flamethrower, and I'm like, that looks like a party. So I like walk over there, and it took me maybe like about an hour, but I found them like pretty fucking quickly.
Oh yeah, found us.
I found all you guys in like a city of 70,000 people just walking around all fucked up.
Just intuition based
and just being like,
connection.
hey, that looks cool. And then like, then so I walk onto the dance floor and see all my friends, and that's what makes me shed a tear. I literally started crying, laughing, and screaming, and lost my voice, and I had no voice for the whole week.
Not being alone.
But it was worth it.
That was the best.
I'm actually a total loner, but
are you?
I am. I'm an introvert, but but I love my friends. I live for my friends.
Oh yeah, Grid Division.
This is the hype for the sample pack right here.
It's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, so Grid Division art.
There's you guys.
He was part of that.
That's you guys.
Photo.
He was part of that sample pack.
I love the art too.
Yeah, I do. Too.
Great job on the art. They did well. So
and
then what's Black Octopus?
So Black Octopus it was Il Gates' roommate, I'm pretty sure, who runs Black Octopus, but they do sample libraries. Actually, like Greg Weebang, who's done some mastering for us.
I was gonna say he messes with, or he was
with Black Octopus. They're like a label basically. They have a shop, but
a lot for sound packs.
A label for sound packs
okay.
and tools for producers, not music specifically.
It's a good look for producers, is there? You would recommend that?
Those Weebang packs, if you do like rhythm or drum and bass.
Also, if you need mastering, Greg's a great mastering engineer.
But you guys don't master.
Not really.
We've mastered. Okay, we brought you all the artwork or whatever for like our main releases, but we had a million in between those that were like free release, free 4K EP, free this, and all of those we did our own mastering for, all of our like free releases that were self-released.
Are you mastering like most other people to make it as loud as possible, or are you guys kind of like laying off now?
I mean, we use references. We pull a track that's really good. I mean, it's like you got some of the songs on Grizz's album. You're like, how it's so clean and so good and so loud, and it's like it's kind of crazy. You're like, you can't even get it there, but it's like, you know, I think leaving room in the mix is the biggest portion. It's like trap people can bang their mixes so loud because it's so minimal. It's like take it all to the roof. There ain't so many frequencies squashed together, you know.
But when you're fucking with multiple dynamics and filling out the sound, and
we
the
have a lot of
spectrum.
sounds going on. We have a lot of stuff going on. It's not as, I don't know.
Well, and now we're transitioning from a less electronic sound to a more live one that might breathe a little more, but still have like those same production values, I guess. You know.
No, I like it.
I don't know. It's constantly in
We're
flux.
still experimenting.
Yeah. I was going to say, we were searching for in the beginning, it was a new sound. Like going over that horizon, you know, that we can all see, but we don't know what's past it. Yeah. And I think we found that it just didn't sound that amazing. Like some of this shit was cool. Yeah. The ideas were good. We didn't have the technical skills to like really bring it home in the vision.
Right.
There was definitely a turning point like halfway through it when we were like, oh, we can finally at least make what we hear and are trying to make. Yeah. At first it was like, oh, we're trying to make what we want to make, but we couldn't too. So it was like we had like this like 75% awesome vision. And then it's like finally it's like, oh, it's just we can actually create exactly what we're hearing in our heads, which made a huge difference.
And I'm still learning. I just took a online class over summer for mixing and mastering, Hyperbits master class. Shout out Hyperbits. And it was really good. I mean, there was a lot of going over shit I already knew, but it filled in the gaps in my knowledge for like multi-band compression and stereo imaging and that kind of thing.
Chain processing.
To where now, signal chain processing. Now when I listen to mixes, I feel like I can picture and understand the sound better. I can isolate the bands and like just better. And
but at first we were so overwhelmed by that.
It's like I can hear my ears are different now.
We were so overwhelmed by that at first though, because we were like we would critique our mixes like so hard, and like, you know, you're just like, man, only like 1% out there can even understand what the hell we're talking about with the stereo imaging right here.
It gets like that, dude.
It gets like that. But then we were
like that.
And we were like obsessed. We would resample everything into audio and chop out all of the silence, and like we were just obsessive. And then it got to a point where like, okay, this is not time friendly. We need to like have a balance. And now it's like, we're more precise, I guess.
Ableton had micro fades on, so when you kick the snare, the transient gets faded, so you lose your fucking beater on your kick. So where did our fucking kick go?
Yeah, it's so fucking frustrating.
Oh, great.
So many things like that. Or the pitch bend getting stuck in the MIDI clips. You're like, dude, fix this. I mean, it's fixed now. But
Ableton 10.
These are all first world problems.
These are all producer problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're really frustrating when it's happening.
Yeah. And there was a time we were both making just as much music, and then there was a time where I started mixing, and then he was producing, and then I got just like, it was like piled up of mixing while he's producing, and we just got it was so over.
We were always
catching up.
We were always never one release ahead of ourselves. And
and
we'd be finishing. We'd be finishing stuff while something's coming out.
It was really frustrating. I felt like my job just turned into mixing. And because we had so many tracks lined up needed to be mixed, and so I was like, "Fuck!"
Well,
I can't even make music because I'm working on the
when I was making every single thing from scratch. By the time it came time to mix it, I can't hear the fucking song anymore. I just know it so well that I can't mix it because I have no objectivity.
Yeah, and so I'd have to jump on it.
He would have to be the fresh pair of ears. Yeah, and some of them he's like,
it's not like you're just mixing strings and guitar and whatever. You're like, okay, this is its own bass sound that is so wild. And the frequencies could be like changed so much here for the mix. Like, where do we want this sucker to sit? Like, how do we actually make this sound good? Because like when you're taking a noise, it's like, wow.
But sometimes you get it frosty and then you leave it and you come back the next like
that sounds
dude,
like,
I had this way off.
Yeah.
Like this is not where
exactly
I wanted it to go. Then sometimes
that's for every producer though.
Yeah.
But you guys almost get to double down on the speed and volume of production when there's two of you.
Yeah.
Well, and you're both are you both proficient at operating the software now?
I for like the last like year or so have been more in the backseat, whereas like
he does more video stuff too.
exactly the video
So it's kind of
stuff.
split. It's
as far
kind of
as
going that
driving.
direction, like engineering, video, but still able to do.
I'm not like super indulged by only doing video. Like I like beg myself for time to work on music. I enjoy our rehearsals like more than anything. It's like my like my release for the week almost is like just playing with music with the crew. And only because, it's just like, I don't know, life's been crazy the last few years and so many different things have hit. And like Luke just has happened to have more time to be working on production lately. So, but it's like, I very much ache for the time that we're just like smoking dubs and working on tunes more together again. It's like,
those are the golden years.
Yeah.
Well, we started a Lo-Fi Wednesdays to bring that feeling back. Cause
just me,
like,
Rabbit, and him.
You guys.
The three of us. Yeah. We were like, dude, I like just missed like getting in the studio, getting baked, and just like doing something that by the end of the day you're like, it's done.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and like make it perfect. I'm like, no, it's
lo-fi.
lo-fi.
Is
it's
just
supposed
so
to
good
sound
for that.
like shit, So it just.
But it doesn't sound like shit.
No, not at all. I'm just kidding. But but I mean, like, it just takes the pressure off because you're like, if it does sound like shit, that's okay.
Now,
I mean, sound quality wise.
Did that happen start happening around COVID? When you had the.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Because I kind of...
That's after.
It was like
after that.
5 months ago, maybe.
Some into it, yeah. Well, and then we've kind of fallen off because you guys are busy. But
I kind of dedicated Tuesday. I call it Stews Day.
Stews Day.
All day in the studio, no matter what.
Yeah,
totally. If I'm got to finish these tracks for somebody or
awesome.
work on or mix this down or a Free Creature thing, I'm in. That's it.
Yeah.
I wish there was more days in the week.
Stews Day.
Yeah, I want to be doing more of that kind of thing where I'm just like committed to being in
Turn the phone off.
But so... Did COVID speed things up for you guys or slow things down?
Well, both.
In different
Think
ways.
hard about that for a second.
It definitely
did it make you guys build and become more diverse and grow bigger and faster, or slow the whole progression of Sugarbeats
faster
down?
Because we were always catching up on the next show. We were like trying to get ready for the next show, so we had no way to work on what we're actually doing as much. Whereas this has been like 6 months of just transforming our set into a fully live set and being like, sweet,
bringing on new players.
Now we have 45, it's like we're going to keep building it until we have like an hour and a half set. Right now we're like just under an hour. It's like, but we want to really make valuable choices on like what covers we throw into this set will be by the time, like you said, come out swinging. It's like we want to make sure that we got some tastemakers in there that are like everybody can sing along to. We want to make sure we have our best originals, and we want to make sure that we're leaving room to continuously write some new songs to add to that arsenal that's not going backwards, because I think we really picked off a lot of our best tracks for the live band so far. Like some of them just don't translate as well.
So you guys were smashing hard with the band, and then COVID hit, and it actually sort of gave you time to strategize.
Yeah, because we were still doing
that seems very dangerous.
We were doing the live
you
band.
Two strategizing with.
We were doing the live band with the backing tracks though, so the pressure of having to get that next set changed different, or like adding stems or whatever was like way more. There was way more pressure from it rather than like, guys, let's just practice and like let's bring our instruments and play our music.
Yeah,
so much more satisfying.
Just flows.
Unbelievable.
More.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's like if we're gonna be on the computer, let's be making new music, not like putting some new thing together. And I mean, a lot of that was the fact that we were playing a lot of the same areas, so we were all constantly wanting to revamp our set instead of just doing the tour across the country and play the same set the whole time.
Because that's how a DJ does it.
Because that's how a DJ does it.
But you guys had your power hour, your 45-minute showcase set dialed in pretty tough, right? Which one were you playing more? Which one do you have more ice cold? As opposed to like you're the headliner and you have a 2-set thing going on. But when you're coming in as an opener, you're like, you got 45 minutes at 9 o'clock to 9:45, and you got to be off the stage. Did you have your solid 45 and then your solid hour?
It was more like the stereo midnight
set.
The stereo midnight set though, we had an hour and a half set. We played it pretty much the same the whole time, you know.
DJ hybrid.
But DJ hybrid set, we were constantly just like, oh, let's change this and like, Rabbit, now you got to play this, dude.
No.
Just like, and it was kind of like, it wasn't as good because there's never enough practice for the specific show. It's like I'm way more about at this point like dialing in an amazing show and just letting it ride through a whole bunch of shows. Like, dude, I saw Anderson .Paak in their POC or whatever.
Yeah.
The last name is said in Vegas with Adrian, my girlfriend, and then I saw him again at
Shout out to Adrian.
Adrian.
Neverland Kitchen.
Yeah, Outside Lands in San Francisco.
Okay.
I saw him again, and I was like, oh, that's like the same show, way less production, because Vegas, they had the whole elevator. He was drum soloing, and it was all crazy. But like, I was like, man, it's basically the same show. And I was like, it's like when you make your show that good, it's worth seeing a second time for me. You know, I was like, hell yeah. And it reminds me that, like, yes, in the days of like us doing DJ stuff, it's always about, oh, what's the new track? Oh, that's a crazy track. When we're a band writing music, it's like, let's make our music as good as possible, and let's make our live show as good as possible.
So that you could listen to it twice in a row and still want more.
Yeah. And like, really just like, you know, it's like, okay, revamp for the next release, the next tour, not like every show.
So when you say making each show different, you're talking about
we would
Changing
change the
the
order,
songs.
the songs,
Order the
everything,
songs.
like every show.
But
like a DJ set.
What about the approach though? Because I saw Anderson Paak in the House of Blues on opening night before he went on his world tour right after his album blew up, right when he came out. And I was supposed to make a song with him 10 years ago in LA, but it's under a different name, and I didn't ever get to do that. And then I'm backstage, in the back of a packed house on House of Blues. I'm watching him and the way he came out, everything. And then the Grateful Dead, they never practiced the song, they practiced the approach. And when I do lots of shows, I always try to change the way we go into songs and the way, and like you said, in Vegas, he's coming out of elevator drumming. First of all, I could watch the best rapping drummer on earth anytime, all the time.
Yeah. He was doing a
that
drum
dude.
solo, then all of a sudden the stage like turned into elevator, and he just goes down into the fucking.
Come on, man. He's amazing.
He's amazing.
But the approach, though.
So, but it was hard for the approach because all of our stems were the same. So it's like we had all, you know, it was like we didn't have enough diversity with the organicness to be able to change.
Freedom.
So it was cold cut. So we had to change our songs. We had to change our orders. We had to like do it more DJ style to get something fresh.
But you could, if I booked you for a 2-hour set, you guys could open DJ and then slowly morph it into a giant band.
You know,
and that could be a crazy approach, like people joining.
We're going to bring electronic elements back in.
Yeah.
But
for right
like
now,
slowly,
for small shows, this makes the
like,
most sense. Like venues open back up, let's get the big production going again.
Like with We Tribe, you had a dude on MPC, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we're gonna like bring some of that in.
Sage.
Yeah,
he just
Sage.
broke his jaw in 7 places. It's wired shut right now. Sage, if you're listening or watching, bro, I love you, man. I'm sorry.
Love you, buddy.
I'm wearing my We Tribe hoodie, right now. But he was rocking the ASR 10.
Yeah, that was super sick. I do finger drumming too, so that's something that we figured that's a great way to fuse those worlds, bring in sounds you can't
and
do
showcase
with an instrument,
and
then you can actually have it there. So, but it's still live. It's
been
triggered live.
I do that live with the Free Creatures in my MPC, and that's my first time playing. It's so interesting. Like I've been always in front, and they play, but now I'm playing, and I swear to God, you guys, I've had moments where I'm jamming, just looking over, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a band.
Yeah.
I'm a musician in a band,
Doesn't
dude,
that
and
feel
I'm making
great?
this music with them, and they look at me like,
because it's their computer sounds.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
They give
doing
the
it
looks.
live. You're doing it real.
It's like it feels so good to be playing those samples on pads,
And
like hitting the fucking pads, and it's making a sound, and that's the water. We're under the ocean in the submarine right now. Just relax.
Did you grab the emergency float pack?
I did. I bought it for $39.99 on Westwood Recordings.
That was the wrong one. It should have been $75.99.
Gonna drown for sure.
You didn't get the double solar version?
Is this what you put up with every time?
Oh man, we're so bad. We invent our own language when we're in the studio really high at 3 a.m.
Are you mean to each other?
We used to be. We used to be so fucking mean. We figured it out though. And honestly, that is the thing I'm most proud about our career is like not our music. It's that we figured out how to like get along. That's a much bigger accomplishment than anything else.
Much bigger.
Because, you asked something about something like when we first met, but like, I'm not super deep into astrology, but I figured out at one point that I'm a Pisces and he's a Virgo.
Okay.
And those are like the two most polarized
Shout out my girlfriend who's a Pisces.
Yeah, so they make very good partnerships because they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
But they also fight like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand each other in any way because we think in completely opposite ways. So, like,
I'm a calculator. He's a abacus.
Well, sometimes the yin and the yang helps.
that's the thing. But
Right?
you can find balance. We found balance, but it was tumultuous while the light and shadow found its.
Also, we were very
settling.
meticulous about our music.
We were very opinionated.
We really were like, no, it has to sound like
Yeah,
this.
we would be like,
And
we
now
would
we're like,
argue over this.
I'm down for either
You're
way.
Have you
like,
loosened
I
up
think
a bit
we
on
should.
that?
Yeah,
both of us for sure. Now
We're
we're
both
like,
like-
let's get some opinions from the band.
Yeah, we're like, I don't know. Like, I'm not attached to it. They're like, no, I'm not attached to it, bro. Please, like,
No, it's all good.
It's
all
all
good,
good.
I'm just
brother.
trying to hold
Please.
space for you.
let me bend over
No,
backwards.
you can decide.
I feel like that song sounds good, but if you feel like it needs a giant horn section, then we can do that, Ananda.
Then let's hold hands. We'll do it together. But and we just like learning like how to be better friends to each other. Like, I think of habit is like when one of us would show the other something we'd been working on and he hadn't heard it yet. It'd be like you immediately, your brain wants to tell like constructive criticism.
Oh yeah,
but
That's hard.
it's hard.
but it comes out as like,
That sounds like shit.
I hate your song and it needs this, but like what we need, like, so it was like we had to slow down and be like, I love this. These are the parts I like.
Yeah.
This is what I think could change. But
Yeah.
but just coming in like,
Just the communication.
that sounds like shit. It was just like we'd always be doing that to each other, and then it was just like compounding. And then at one point, I remember we got in this huge argument, and I was like, or we were both like, okay, just stop. We need to, okay, what are we actually both saying?
We were saying
Yeah.
the same thing.
And I was saying it in like a
Sure, you're
positive.
not brothers, man.
He was saying it in a
I
double
swear.
negative, and we realized before we ever argue again, let's just try to hear each other first.
But we double negative argued a lot.
Because
we said the
we
same
put
shit
things in
all the
opposite
time.
ways. We tend to be like, I'll be like, no, it isn't raining, and he'll be like, it's sunny
sprinkling.
or something. You know, like we put it in different ways. It sounds like we're saying different things,
Yeah.
but we're actually saying the same.
But
thing.
mainly when we're trying to describe a technical point of a song in a specific production spot, and like we're trying to describe something that is very hard to describe, and so we would constantly be like, no, it needs to sound like this. No, it should sound like this, or like, but it would. We generally would get to the same spot where we're like, okay, that's
it would get. We would never resolve them either. We would just stop arguing. That's all. We would just be like, okay, we're not gonna fix this.
Or I'd change it while he's gone from the
And then
studio
I'd
the
change
next
it
day,
back.
and then
Right.
he'd change it
in the
back.
best case scenario, like we would actually end up with something better because we both had to compromise.
Right.
So we're like, okay, the best of your world, the best of my world.
Chop out
And then
what
we're
we
like,
both don't
actually,
like.
we both like this more now.
Okay, so
and not
who's-
being attached was important. Like letting go of those things. That okay, you can change that.
Yeah,
Luke, and
you
not
get
being like,
this
no, that's my
one.
favorite part, because it doesn't matter if it's my favorite part. The
Nobody's
listeners
ever gonna listen
are
to
never
our
gonna
music.
know.
So who says I want to build a studio. I want to build this video place. I'm going to do that.
That's an on demand.
So that's you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just had this perfect spot in the back of my house, and
Right.
you know, I just like I had it there like all ghetto in high school for the hip hop thing. I was like, man, this would be a perfect spot to return it into a studio, you know,
Yeah.
and like we just. You know, we did pretty good with the licensing stuff
Yeah.
over the last
had
few
a
years.
little chunk.
Had some good money to reinvest into our art, and we really were like, first off, music, and then as soon as the music was done and I kind of was started vlogging and doing some more video stuff, I'm like, we shot like 2 videos. There's 2 videos out. One's like an Anderson .Paak D'Angelo mashup that we covered, but the other one was a Tom Misch cover, and we were like, man, like it was just me, Luke, and Rabbit.
Yeah.
And it was packed in there. It was tight. We were like, we need a bigger space to shoot videos. And like I found the best.
They're also taller than we are. This
Right.
space is a little.
Is that why you got the Sprinter van? Can you pull that up? Because they're taller than you?
Yeah, because they're tall.
So they-
I'd like
they
to
can stand up in
oh
the
yeah,
sprinter
when we
van?
were coming
Yeah.
back from the Hive,
Yeah.
bro. I don't know, like
Career goals.
It was Kalisto was just belching it. We had the tunes bumping. I was playing online poker on my phone with
Yeah.
Luke in the other car driving back with the club
Yeah.
because we got an online game going.
So you built the
And-
studio. You built the film studio warehouse.
Separate.
And then you built this Sprinter van.
over like the last couple of years.
And this Sprinter van is sort of like a spaceship for traveling for destinations beyond.
Correct.
And
got
it's
a
so
bed in
it's
the
so
back.
much the dream Sprinter. If I could give enough blood to get one, I would.
And
This is like the dream right here for any musician. Look how shiny it
and
is.
so like
Shiny and
it-
chrome.
It is built kind of for camping, with the solar setup and the
Chrome.
heater and everything, but it is
Yeah.
kind of more towards the touring vibe.
Look at
it
it. Look at
doesn't-
the rims. It's got solar power.
Mm-hmm.
Inside is clean as fuck.
Yeah, where's the
Do we
inside
have-
pic? Yeah, there's
Got inside pics.
Open that sucker up.
And this is what you got for
We
the
got this
journey.
for the band for touring.
Band, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But then touring sort of stopped. But look at this.
Yeah,
This is
we got a nice,
fantastic.
nice
it was,
couch.
It was ironic.
got a
beautiful.
good system. There's plenty of room for everybody.
A
to
tiny
hang out.
home person helped you.
Yeah,
clean
so
it up and make
down
it-
to earth tiny homes out of Medford area, Central Point area. Parker, shout out. He killed it. He helped me basically finish up what we couldn't take care of ourselves, and he did a really good job. There's a couple things I still need to do. I just need to put some cabinet faces to close those upper cabinets.
Oh,
They're
man.
open right now.
That
But
is-
there's storage under that. It's like all leather, really nice, real leather, really nice foam, and there's a
Is that
mini
purple
fridge underneath
heartwood?
there.
Is that purple
No,
heartwood?
that's like some just nice cloth. The top is
oh, okay.
suede. The TV in the front there is inlaid. That's suede all around it. It's kind of like a limo touring bus, but there's a bed in the back with another TV back there, so you can sit back there and play your Mario Kart with some homies, and you can also be chilling up here watching this one. And the captain's seat, the passenger seat that flips around, is
And that's
pretty
the
awesome.
top.
That's
solar
the top,
panel.
just showing the solar
I
panels.
recognize
and the
those shoes.
racks.
You're wearing them today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those are my
So
work shoes. I never stop working, buddy.
This clearly you build so much. So this Sprinter, how many miles it got?
It's got 81,000.
81,000.
Yeah.
And
It's the diesel.
It's the
the
diesel. Oh.
2014.
Okay.
It's gonna go forever.
Yeah.
It's the long one. They don't make the shorties or the long ones in 4-wheel drive. Only the shorties. So it's but with those all-terrain tires, we took it to Bend and we went through the snow with full crew,
Really?
and it was no problem.
Okay.
It wasn't slipping. So pretty adventure-y and but lots of room for the band mainly. And there's like 3.5 feet of storage in the back
Okay.
to put all the gear and everything.
Look at that.
So
It's just so nice looking. And you're selling this.
yeah,
You want to sell this?
I mean,
Who wants to sell?
I don't really want to,
You
but
don't
like
want
it
to.
took so long
I
to
wouldn't.
build, and
I'd
I
sell
know.
my house before I'd sell that, to be honest.
I
with
know
you.
if
We're
if-
not really touring
yeah,
right
but
now.
people
so
are
it's
talking
like-
like it's about to open back up, so it scares me. If I sell it,
know.
and 2 months
I
from now we
know.
get booked for a tour with
Yeah.
Shenanigan Lollipop.
Yeah,
It's like,
shenanigan lollipop.
who
Hey,
knows?
but if people wanted to, if they were interested in this amazing Sprinter van with the storage in the back,
It's posted on Facebook.
It's
If
on
you just
Facebook.
go to Marketplace, it's posted on Craigslist. If you
Okay.
look Sprinter van build,
Okay.
and all the details are there. Pretty much everything that went into it.
Yeah.
Most of the brands. It's got like the best insulation you can put in the walls too. It's all just.
yeah, you guys don't really half-ass anything.
We try not to.
I can imagine that's probably got all the top.
We
of
had a
the
tour
shit
van
in it.
before this that the headliner was like, I mean, she rode, she went, she was going strong, and then the fuzzy headliner started falling on our faces, and we couldn't poke it back up well enough, and we just had to sell it. But we ended up making money off of that van because Indubious hooked us up with their old van, so it was like a hand-me-down. It was good when we got it, and then we used old Sally, and she drove away in her Mustang.
Drove her to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the overall? Where's Sugarbeats going? What's the vision? What's the you know what I mean? Like, what do you see? What are you trying to manifest with it?
I mean, dude, the show that we did here was like I said, so fresh. Like with the synth player, the bass player, and the other horn player that we didn't have for a while. We never had a synth player or a bass player, so that like makes it. That fills in the bass noises. That fills in all of our synthy patches. Like, and he does the organ, so that really helps. Shout out Cromulon.
Yeah,
He's a great producer himself. Really good music. And I think where we're at now is just the beginning of where we're actually wanting to go. We want to have like an hour and a half set dialed. We want it to be full throttle. We don't want, we want to have all the parts dialed. We're still figuring that out. We're still using your video and the Ben video to assess what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
And how we can do it better. And we're on this fence right now of like, should we add any older songs or should we just add a few covers and then write some new songs? Like get to an hour, like, or a little over an hour with a few good covers that Kalista just crushes.
She does crush.
She does crush. And so then it's like, and then we start like, okay, we have a ton of songs we've been like writing kind of with the band. We have like jams that we do. Yeah. They just don't have vocals, and rushing vocals is the one thing that got it. Wow. That is okay. The one thing that got us into trouble in the past is rushing vocals. It's like, okay, it's the make or break of the song.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really important that it's like, I think we're at a point where like, man, if we're going to take the time to do this, let's like really make this a good song.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's enough like noise in the world at this point. It's kind of about like, we used to like really go for like quantity kind of over quality, you know? But I think at this point it's a lot more about quality over quantity, and just like not wasting anybody's time with like subpar music, and just being like, this is, you know, what we're doing, what we're excited about.
And we're not meticulous about making it perfect. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, where we used to be like so tight about like just these beats.
Man. I don't know. I was still pretty like perfectionist in the studio, but
I know, I get it. I'm just saying, like,
I just don't know what our next release is gonna look like, because we have a bunch of works in progress, but I feel like every time we're just like, let's do something new. It's always funky, but
that one, the bump,
yeah, but it's like, how is that gonna?
I like that one too.
What kind of like sound design? How do I want to bring it to life?
Well, I thought we were gonna write it as with the band. I thought we were gonna.
Yeah, I know, but like the produced version will be different. But potentially, or it'll just, or our next EP will be all live, no fucking computer shit.
I don't know if you remember, but what we did talk about was writing the songs with the band, recording them, putting out the live version, taking all of those stems from those recordings and producing the songs out. So we have a live version of the EP, and then we just beef it all up.
Yeah,
and we could release them both, or we could not, or we could make the live version a bonus, or it could just be videos that are extra content.
Your brain doesn't turn off, does it?
No, it's so hard to sleep, honestly.
It's okay.
Just like the thoughts just
the monkey minds.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Smoke a lot of weed.
It's not hard.
Try
to
say everything you see.
Say everything.
That's what I do to fall asleep. It helps.
Fall asleep. Yeah. Like in your head.
It also makes you a better rapper.
So just wake up earlier. That's all you got to do.
I have to
switch
when
you're trying to go to sleep, you know, he's talking about like the visual thing, but say what you see when you're thinking.
I can't use the words though, because that triggers like my like linguistic cortex or whatever. It's like thinking in images. It'll start turning my brain off, because then it'll just turn into dreams. Like instead of words. So you like your consciousness. It's like, hey, you forgot to get eggs, and also you're a piece of shit.
And that's in your dream?
No, like that's like the voice that you always hear when you're trying to go to sleep, or I do.
Yeah.
I can't turn off because he thinks he's so smart. And I'm like,
he thinks he's so smart.
I just have to think in images.
Did you get the eggs? Did you?
Like instead of words happening, it's just like, and then I just let it go on autopilot. So it's just like crows, and they're flying, and then there's trees, and then
I seem to sleep pretty well, just because I just go on like 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night. So it's really not hard for me to fall
really
asleep.
hard all day.
Wake up at 6 or 7, and then go to bed at 1 in the morning and do it all over again. So
you guys are fascinating. You go so hard. You're building so much. You've done so much. I mean, honestly, we could talk as long as you wanted if this wasn't, you know, where we are right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we touched on a lot of great stuff.
We did. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you more about advice that you have, but I felt like you dribbled some bits of advice and information throughout the cast that was really valuable. I feel like we know where you're going. I would like to know who you drive cross country to see perform if you had to jump in a time machine, Geo Metro, and drive straight to Florida, but you get to see an opener, a main support, and a headliner. I would like to know that before we go.
It was
opener.
It was a long.
Because I want to know if it's like electronic music or what's up with it.
It's actually, well, you can tell the first one.
Well, we deliberated because
I'm sure you did.
We were trying to figure this out.
Out of everything we prepared for you, this took the longest.
And it's probably not going to seem that crazy to you. It's nothing like an opening speech from Gandhi.
It's okay.
Or an old man carving a canoe.
That's dope. What is it? Who is it?
We got Earth, Wind, and Fire for the opener.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't remember who you wrote.
Sly was the
It's in the Family Stone.
Yeah,
Sly
was-
and the Family.
was
So
the
you
direct
guys,
support.
You guys do pull from the OGs though.
And then
But-
James Brown for the headline.
Of course.
Yeah,
We didn't-
so-
That's a show.
That's a show.
Who wouldn't drive across country to see all of those bands in their prime playing?
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's a crazy show.
And like shout outs to Kool and the Gang too.
We almost threw them in there. They have a lot of
didn't-
hits, but
I don't want James Brown to sound too cliche, but at the same time, he did birth funk. He is
And
the
hip-hop.
mama- Exactly. Most sampled like artist of all time.
Yeah.
So it's like
and he coined the
honestly-
phrase.
Yeah.
as seen on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't mean to be cliche, but really you can't pay homage to that man enough.
And some of the horns in those songs are it's just like some of the best horns, dude. We had like a James Brown sample something.
They have a sample pack
whatever.
for James
no,
Brown?
it wasn't. No, it was all
Holy
ripped and
shit,
shit.
that-
We found it, but it was like a whole bunch of horns parts and like different parts from it, and
Okay.
it was always fire. You're
It's
like,
always fire.
but then you're like, man, but that's a James Brown song. You're not gonna sample it.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like every other rapper from the golden era.
Yeah, but
Every track was just
that would be the show though, for
Bernard
sure.
Purdy shuffle.
It's funny. We like, we make different types of music, but we really, there's like, I think funk is like our OG, like it satisfies me the most out of everything overall. Coming back to it, I leave music, I come back to it constantly. Different genres. I listen to classical, then I listen to Cardi B, then I listen to bluegrass, constantly everything. And it's like coming back to funk is just like a good feeling, especially live. I love just really just getting into some dancing, some funk.
Everybody likes the funk.
That's why I like the hip hop collective. I was like, fuck yeah, Neil, let's do this. Like, let's get some random juices going.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Thank you for
so
being
good.
open to that day, because I actually got to rock a show with you guys. Try out your golden
was super
microphone.
fun.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
It was one of my only shows I've done locally. I try not to shit where I eat
Yeah.
Heard that. Yeah.
or eat where I shit. You know what I mean? I want to go on the road and like travel and,
Yeah,
and
we-
come home to the beautiful Ashland like we get to
Yeah.
in Southern Oregon. It's
Absolutely.
amazing here. It's really great to have you guys around here. Some heavy hitters doing their thing around here.
Thank you.
I don't feel lonely, you know,
Yeah,
when I know
no
that
doubt.
there's cats down here just
And-
it's constantly obsessing over every aspect of their music like you
We
guys.
want to have you over in Ashland more.
Oh, yeah,
often,
man.
Yeah,
too,
you got
if
to come
wanna
shoot a
be-
video on the
I'm
psych
down.
wall. I know you're
I'm
like
down.
the
We're just
swoopty
like,
wall.
we
I
just
mean, I'm
want
an
all-
MC, man. What's up with a beat, though?
Yeah.
That's what it's really
Come
about.
through.
We could
I
book
dare
it.
you. I dare you to give me a beat.
All right.
I will destroy
All right,
it.
competition
And that is
acknowledged.
for real.
I don't know if we have fire that's
But
fire enough for you.
I don't
though.
need fire. I'm Marv
Oh, you'll
Ellis.
make
I can
it
rap.
fire.
No,
It'll be
I'll
garbage.
rap on folk music. I don't give a fuck.
Got you. All right. Perfect.
I rap.
I feel
on
like we
every-
You
got
got
something
against
for
folk
him.
music, man.
I love folk music. I'm a folklore hip hop artist. I speak the wisdom and truth and stories of my community.
Let's
through
see what he
spoken
does
word.
with
Love it.
Right,
Yeah. Oral tradition.
but
I think the Hive is starting a record label right now.
Oh, really?
another record label. And you guys have a festival coming up, Units Festival in June, right? You're gonna do that still?
No,
What?
I don't think so.
2020, 21.
That might be a different Sugarbeats.
Okay, yeah.
No. It's you guys, right?
Dude, this happened a couple years ago. We get booked for shit that we don't even know. And
Yeah,
then
there's
we're
a
like,
because there's
next
another
weekend we're
Sugar
going
Beats
to
out of
Idaho.
Eugene.
So yeah, when I was a kid, they were Eugene's best band for 15 straight years. You guys, Sugarbeats.
They tried to
so
shut
when
us down.
I was like, what? Did they try?
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, I know you guys are like doing the thing in Eugene, but we have just like a lot going on. It's not spelt the same. It's Beats EATS, not
Yeah.
EETS. And if your fans are gonna come to our show because they can't read, that's their problem.
So you just went. You're like, fuck it, we're taking the name.
Well,
I don't
for
give a
one, we
We
had
didn't-
way more.
We didn't know about them.
We had
Yeah.
way more weight on all of our
First.
platforms. So like, if they really tried to do something, we were like, man, it's like our Facebook page, all of these pages we
which
have
is ironic.
our handles
Super.
on.
because in real life,
Yeah,
they were a band before we were born.
they were.
But
Some people
but
did
we
come though to our shows
have a
thinking it
better
was
claim
them
to
and
the
vice
copyright.
versa.
I don't think you guys fully understand. In Eugene, for almost a decade, the number one New Year's Eve show to go to was the Sugarbeats live at the Hilton. It was the show.
Well,
So
it
I
still
grew up
is.
going like, Sugarbeats, and then everybody's like, have you heard the Sugarbeats, man? I'm like, yeah.
Duh.
They play.
Old news.
They just play covers, and they're talented musicians. And the lead singer, I took vocal lessons from her once. One time I did.
Yeah.
And that's where that no. These DJ kids from down in Southern Oregon. Like what?
That's
Why would they? It was so
that's
confusing.
when we first met. You came to one of our shows thinking it was.
We didn't
a Sugar
find out
Beats.
about
I would
them till
never. I would
forever,
never
though.
go to a Sugarbeats show,
No, you legitimately.
but I would
did.
go to one of your shows.
No, you legit did. You
I
came
did?
to our show at the Granary. Was it called that?
The Granary?
the
Oh,
pizza
yeah.
place down by the
Oh, yeah,
railroad
yeah, yeah.
tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were playing. It was what was her name? Nina or something? Tina that booked
Chobu.
us and. You came down. We were like, "Oh, what's up, Marv?" Because we hadn't even met. We knew
Yeah.
you from Fair because we
Yeah.
watched you perform every
Right,
day. And we
right,
like
right.
really looked up to you, and
Yeah.
like you showed up, and we're like, "You came to our show." You're like, "I thought this was the other Sugar."
No,
Beats."
I genuinely thought that I didn't know that it was you guys.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
no, exactly.
I was gonna ask. That was a whole question way earlier
Well, we
in
got
the
to
night,
it.
but
Yeah,
I just
no.
want to know because there's another Free Creatures in like
Oh, really?
Poland that put
Is
out
it spelled
music
the
in
same?
2010 or something
And
like that.
then, yeah.
Is it
Nothing,
spelt the
nothing.
same?
I don't even know.
That's a
There's
huge part
another
of it.
Sugar Beats in Arkansas too.
There's one in England as well,
I know, and
but
they all
You
suck.
did your research.
Except,
Yeah, man.
Except the
Fuck
Eugene
yeah.
one.
when someday you'll have a podcast, Ananda, it'll probably be insane.
Yeah, Wood Wednesday starts next week. We freestyle and smoke backwoods.
That's dope. So
We invented it in the car.
before we go, speaking of freestyle and smoking weed, you know, when you're in the car with your boy or your
He doesn't let us smoke in
homegirl,
the Prius.
or
You did today.
I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
did.
put it out in the
you
Prius.
roll a Prius?
I do.
I do too, man.
2011.
You're hybridrin.
Oh, that was him
Hybrid.
front. That was him
Hybrid.
fronting across the
Hybrid,
street.
yeah.
We saw that. We're
Yeah,
like,
that's
who's
me.
fronting?
No, that's me. I go hard.
Gang, gang.
I got all tinted out.
Yeah.
That was my dream to have an
Quiet
electric
gang.
hybrid someday.
Nice.
I was like, that's someday.
I
I'm
wanted
gonna
the
roll.
Tesla. Settled for the Prius.
Well, this is the precipice.
Yeah.
You'll get there someday, judging the way you guys make moves.
Teslas aren't nice enough yet. I
Yeah.
need more battery.
Say you're in a Prius. Homie just doesn't give a fuck.
Just holding out.
Right. But you're like, yo, have you heard the Sugarbeats? And they're like, no. You mean the band from Eugene? No. You mean band from
no.
Poland? No. No. The Sugarbeats. One word. Right? One word. That's how you find you guys.
Everywhere
Beats.
is Sugar Beats music, one word, except for
word.
one place
Beats like
is
we're
just
gonna-
Sugar Beats.
But what's the song that I play, the elevator song, to show them what's
Son of an
good?
Outlaw.
I think we play the 2019 live reel, the live footage.
Oh,
'cause
No,
that-
it can't be
that-
some
you don't
real. I
want
want to play a song for
just
them. Like,
one
you got to
song?
understand,
Just
like,
the song,
I'm going to
not-
pull a song up in
I
the
think it's
Spotify.
Son of an Outlaw.
It is.
Son of a Outlaw's the jam?
Yeah.
Okay. So before we go, we're going to leave people with Son of an Outlaw.
That's
And-
gonna be the
That will be the track that we
what do they
leave them
call
with.
that? Yeah.
The outro track.
When you play it and walk off.
Even though that's
stage.
off our last EP, you sure you don't want to do something that's from the new EP?
I feel like it's the most quintessential.
There you
Otherwise,
go.
it would be 1873, which is like its
Right.
sister song, but the newer one.
Right.
Right.
So
But I think when we originally decided, I thought
Yeah.
Son of an Outlaw would
Let's
be
do
nice.
Son of an Outlaw then.
Let's go there. Thank you guys for coming in. This has been awesome. I am going to talk slower to stall for Trevor now. It's been really cool to have you guys.
That tripped me out, bro. I just went into a different space. I was like, am I supposed to come with you?
But if people do want to see this live band, this project that you guys have put all this creativity and all, you kind of channel all your firepower on this energy on this project, this
band,
live
yeah.
band. You guys just played last week. This is our first post show podcast, so people can go to the Hive
Yeah.
and they can watch you guys in high definition, multiple cameras. Are you guys gonna do anything with the live audio, multi-tracks too?
Yeah,
we're gonna mix it.
We're
Awesome.
just gonna we're gonna mix it down and get just
Okay.
get bump up the solo volume, stuff like that, and then
my
get the HD
keys.
video and put it on our put it on our YouTube
Dope.
and our Facebook, and then we're gonna pull some shorts to put on our Instagram. I
Would you
think.
recommend other bands to come in here and do the same?
Absolutely.
Fuck yes,
Come on.
100%.
So when we were talking about budget music videos earlier, just as like a video production side of things, like, you know, you're welcome to come down to Pretty Sweet Studios and rent the space if you want to shoot a low budget music video, but you could come to the Hive and get one for free first.
Yeah, but you got to earn it.
But you got to earn it.
Bring
You gotta
your
earn it.
A-game.
But Joe did an amazing job on sound. Everybody
Dinkins.
else just crushed the visual and video side of it. And I think it's a no brainer. If you get the golden ticket to get into this place,
Yeah, it's-
absolutely
it's
do
kind
it.
of a-
And it's so fun. Everybody here is just
Yeah,
on top
that's
of
what I
it
was
and
gonna say.
super involved and super supportive. So
That's
Thank you
Trevor.
so much.
Big ups to Trevor. Big
Yeah,
ups to
big
Joe
ups.
Dinkwitz.
Thanks, Trev.
Thank you,
Big ups to
Trevor,
Hive.
again for having me help and be a part of this. It's crazy. I'm
It's my
so
pleasure. You're amazing. You're all
stoked that I
amazing.
get
You're
to, like-
marvelous, dude.
Nah, man, I'm just Marv. I love being able to talk to guys like you because it just makes my day. I'm so lonely on the farm sometimes, and I don't get to talk music with people. So this is very exciting for me, and I'm really
Likewise.
happy to have you guys here. And we're going to leave the people at home with Son of an Outlaw off the EP, right? That's the move?
That's the
Son of
plan.
an Outlaw.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Son of an Outlaw.
And for all you nerdy cryptos out there, we might be releasing an NFT somewhat soon.
Of course you are. So thanks, guys, for coming in. Blah, blah, blah,
Blah,
blah,
blah,
blah.
blah, blah.
Hybridron,
Much love.
Hybridron. Yeah, it's good to have you guys.
Thank you so much. Mad love. Appreciate
All right, y'all. That have been Deep Dive. Subscribe, share, whatever. Do what you got to do. Rate us. Give us 5 stars. I dare you. And we're taking off right now. Go check out their live show. Keep your ears and eyes peeled for more Sugarbeats music. I'm your host, Marv Ellis. Trevor, we're out. Let's run that track, man. Thank you, guys.
Bless.
Peace.
And it goes a little something like this. Get down to the
When you shake it like a sucker, but then you slide